We return to the city of Dol Makyar, which is beautiful, and the gray spires and proud stone arches of this wondrous metropolis shine with hope and promise, and of a different time. For indeed, it is not the year 71. It is the year 42, and two 19-year-old orcs walk side by side to a location we have already seen. Though last we saw the Lloy estate, it was home to the animation of the corpse of one Octus Taconis. We see a Lloy estate bustling with activity, joyousness, frivolity, for indeed, this is the afternoon heading into the evening of Dajaraz, the orcish holiday celebrating the end of the reign of Oscar the Conqueror, and more than that, the blooming of green life that came at this time 42 years ago to the land of God, that changed overnight from a land choked by ash and the glowering fire of the god of war and strife to instead become a green growing land of promise, bounty, and fellowship. Can we describe these two 19-year-olds that approach this family gathering?
You want to go first?
No.
Okay.
But I will if you want me to.
Go ahead.
Hal is a lanky, tall, but not as tall as his companion, young lad. He still carries himself with a smile most times at this age, even though he has been doing some bloody work far off from here. He is dressed in pretty simple clothes. He's the son of a soldier, and he's the son of a foreign emissary who do not live together. And they get by, and that's just about it. Behind that smile, which never really leaves his face, is a little bit of, if you're perceptive, a little bit of worry behind the eyes.
Ooh. I think, unfortunately, Thaisha's not paying too much attention. She's just so excited. Wrapped around, like, your arm and shoulder and, like, leaning into you. Young Thaisha has, like, a bunch of, like, very ornate braids that are woven through with bits of, like, silver and ironwork jewelry. Her hands are covered with rings, and she's got piercings. She's young and definitely looks softer than we've ever met her, because this is before any part of her life has called her to step away from this city or what she thinks her purpose is, which is to be a jewelry maker. With a really cute boyfriend that she's so excitedly dragging across the river to her house.
Do you have a page on Orcsy?
I do.
Yeah.
Well, it's not so much a page, but like I tell my friends to like tell friends, and then like it kind of happens that way organically. It's not really about the money. I just need a creative outlet.
Hal, growing up in Dol Makyar, the Lloy family, the Lloys, they built the pariah blades. The Lloys, and you met one. Now, meeting a Lloy is not hard. They're an extremely large, prosperous family. There's just your odds of meeting a Lloy go up with each passing generation, and you can hear the noise of an extremely large, gregarious family inside of the estate as you walk up here. But you are still meeting. There are members of Thaisha's family that saw active war in the Shapers' War, which at this point again is only ended 41, 42 years ago. Walking through the gate, about to meet your girlfriend's family, you turn around and you hear.
Are we using labels? It's only been a couple weeks.
Oh, we can do whatever you want. I'll follow your lead. Are you sure about this?
Yeah, no, boyfriend, let's go.
Wow.
Turning around, you walk in, you see nearby your mother, Tana Lloy, is directing something. She looks over and says, "Baby!"
Hi.
comes over and picks you up as someone else comes out and says, "It's hot, put it down, or keep it up, put it down,
here."
Put it down." You see,
Gestures to me, I grab it and then kind of put it in your hands.
Hands you a tray. You see that the mother says, "And you're Hal."
Guilty as charged.
Come on in, come on in. And she sort of pushes you along.
Pushing you from the back.
I've walked past this building 1,000 times. Why am I in it?
It's not a building, it's a home, it's a home, it's a home.
You walk in, you see that your sister Kiasha comes over and gives you a big hug and says, "What's up? Oh,
Hi. Do you see him?
Okay.
Look, he can like carry a whole tray. It's so cute.
And this is Gazar? No, this is no.
No, oh my God, stop. Hal,
I can't.
It's been literal weeks. What are you talking about?
This is not Gazar. This is
No.
Okay. This is nice to meet you. I'm Kiasha. I'm Thaisha's older sister.
Let's see if I can do it.
Okay. Ooh, you're already learning. Hello. You walk over. You see that Thaisha's sister is beautiful. She's got her hair tied up in a coil of braids on top of her head. Your brother comes over, Gorzov, who is a rotund, muscular. But you see that he looks like classic blacksmith.
Jump
thick forms.
onto
He just hoists you up and makes the seat for you on his shoulder. As he looks over and says, "How's it going? Was it Hollis? What's your name?"
Halandil.
Halandil. What's up? Nice to meet you.
Call me Hal. I'm gonna set these over here.
That's where they go.
Hey.
Nice to meet you. He gives you a thick handshake. He goes, "Nice." Says, you're serving in the Grey Battalion, right?
Yeah, been back.
You in Timony, or are you out east, or where are you serving?
Out east.
Out east. You've seen some real action.
Afraid so.
Okay. You see, he turns around and says, "I got something. Hold on." And you see that he puts you on your dad's shoulder. He turns around and as you see, your dad is outside grilling on this massive steel contraption that you see he has built as a smith himself. He looks in and you see that it is burning under this, as he opens a crank on the side, this blast furnace comes out and flash fries a series of steaks. He goes, "They only need about 3 seconds. Keep some red in the middle." Sweetie!
Hi! I was just kissing the back of his head.
You see that...
Still 6'4", let me be clear. This is a giant woman being passed.
How big's Dad?
There's not an orc here that's under 6 feet.
Okay.
You see that the Lloy family are prosperous. They were back in Dol Makyar of the past. They were to have had the resources to craft the plan that they did. The city of Dol Makyar relied on them. Not only for their smithing, their feats of engineering. So the Lloy family, if you're going to have warriors, you have to have them be able to fight war, and the level of knowledge that the Lloy family accumulated back in the past was prodigious. You see, this is a family that are proficient warriors and smiths and engineers. You see that looking over, the brother Gorzov looks out and goes, "Oh, do you have do you have standard issue? Can I see your sword for a second?"
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. You see, he takes that out, looks at it, says, "Okay, we can do better than this." And you see, he says, "Give me a second." And you see, he walks off into a corner. And you see that he says, "Can you move the steaks over to the side?" And you see that Dad says, "Don't smith on the grill."
It's gonna make the steaks taste weird.
You see that.
But do it.
You hear a voice behind you, Thaisha, say, "Thaisha, who's this?"
Grandma. Hi. I scramble off of my father, who's maybe 3 inches taller than me, so not that hard to do, and embrace my grandmother, Siva.
Siva gives you a warm hug. As she does, you see that she puts your face against your shoulder, big, long embrace, and you can see that around you can hear the buzzing of bees going off to make honey, and you feel a sort of wind blow past, and you smell almost like every element of rich earth, wrought iron, green leaves, the wind blowing smell of grain and fruit. This woman is anchored to the heart and soul of Ahriman. She is 108 years old. She has seen the face of a god towering over her city, and right now, the only thing on her mind is her wonderful granddaughter.
Hi. I think this is the one time Thaisha pauses, and it's not that it's not that the smile drops because it's no longer sincere, but there is something when she's close to Siva that she feels everything get louder around her. She becomes more aware of everything she can smell and taste in the air and the wind. And in those moments, especially when she's hugging her, she can't ignore it like she's been ignoring it since she was a little girl. And it's a little off-putting. But as soon as the hug breaks, she can kind of shake it off again.
She pulls away from you, smiles, says,
Hi. I brought Hal. He's very important to me and not like the other ones.
She looks at you. Give me an insight check.
With my cool 20 stat? I don't have that yet. Yeah, there we go. That's a 9 on the die, and I want to live by
you
the
look
die.
at her, she says, you're bringing only Hal? You see that she turns over and goes, it's very nice to meet you.
Freeze frame.
Yeah.
I think that Hal in this moment is really, really out of body because he has been out in the shit for quite a while. He's back in the city. He has met this beautiful young woman, and everything has changed. And in this moment, he's standing in the home of an institution in the city, and he is also doesn't come from a large family, doesn't have a lot of siblings, is sort of drinking in all of the siblings' energy and all the hustle and bustle of this remarkable household. And the only thing that is grounding him and keeping him from floating away is this beautiful, charming, hysterical, beautiful woman. And in this moment in time, as her grandmother is coming over, can't help but have his glance pulled to the side, and he is suspecting that he wants to be with this woman for the rest of his life. Ma'am.
Mr. Fang, it's very nice to meet you. I am Siva. I am Thaisha's grandmother. You're from Dol Makyar, yes?
Fang, born and raised.
It's very lovely to hear. I am from Dol Makyar, and I'm glad we could make it out here for this Dejaraz. Happy Dejaraz to you.
Actually catch her hand and place a hand on top of it. It's an honor to be in your home, and an honor to meet the woman I have heard a great deal about. It is clear to me where your granddaughter gets her streak of nobility and early wisdom.
You see that she looks over to you and goes,
I know, right?
She gives you a kiss on the cheek and says, we'll get you fed. I know that you've probably been eating rations for some time. Let us not worry of axes and the vines they cut. Let us instead worry only of things that blossom and bloom. And you see that she takes you and walks away. As she does, you see that your brother and sister are talking. You see that Kiasha looks over at you and says, they want to make another sword.
Yeah.
And you see your brother turns to you and says, we don't want to make another sword, but there are, the family funds are,
Sure.
And there's a lord
There's always a lord.
I know.
There's always a lord that wants a little sword.
I'm saying that we don't have to make it a good sword. I'm not saying that we should arm these petty
You could
nobles.
send the sword that Hal came in with. If you just put your name on the back, it's fine.
That's a war of attrition. That's a losing proposition over time. The swords need to be good.
Yeah, okay.
And you see Kiasha just goes, well, why do we need to do this whole bridge project anyway? And you see that he turns and says, if one sword could pay for all these bridges, that land needs to be irrigated. The river is flooding pretty much once a year during the rainy season. And you see they begin talking. Your family engages in this big debate because basically anytime the coffers get dry, you guys make one sword and some king in a far off land pays through the nose for a Lloy blade.
I definitely lean in and I'm trying to do the live translation of just keeping you caught up. The bridge project's actually very cool, but we're not getting a lot of other public funds, so we figured we could kind of bootstrap it ourselves.
Is this the day-to-day in here?
Yeah, kind of. We all get together and figure out how to spend the time. You're doing great.
You see that in this moment, Gorzov looks over at you and says, our name is as famous as any noble's name, but we don't own castles and land and stuff.
We could own a castle. I feel like we could have one castle.
We shouldn't. We don't want to get in that game.
I know, but
we want to stay in the work for money game. Okay.
Well, there's a lot in a name, and the Lloy name carries much.
I appreciate that. Hal. And you see, looking over, Siva sort of dings a little glass together. You see there's two older uncles that are talking to each other. And you see one of them, there's sort of like the politics conversation happening over by the wine. Someone going like, well, it was due to the bloodiness of the war. Because of that, the guilds, when the blooming happened, obviously so many had died in the wars, actually made their labor worth more. I'm sorry to say it, but it's the fact of being able to work meant a lot when suddenly the land was all, and you see over here, you see there's kids running through the sort of like the blood red leaves of the trees. Siva looks out and says, ding, 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 family, and guests, and wonderful friends of the family, and beloved ones.
I think the moment she says family, I just instinctively grab your hand. She's already jumped so many steps. It's been weeks. It doesn't matter. You were always meant to be here.
Just sort of looks over and stares unabashedly.
Dajaras, the blooming. We are here to celebrate the day in which Kahad bloomed. And I see many promising buds out here in this place. And you see that flowers grow around the garden. Siva being a member of the Circle of Ancients and the only druid here in the family of smiths. And you can see the Lloy family with this intense pragmatism and curiosity and jocularity, and this one matriarch who brings this kind of spiritual weight to these proceedings. Hal, in this moment, you're here celebrating an orcish holiday that is, at this point, only 40 years old. Circle of Ancients survived in hiding for thousands of years and has had to stand up on its feet and provide meaning and comfort for people in the span of less than half a century. Did Hal grow up particularly religious? Did he observe a lot of druidic customs in the Rookery or here in this big sort of urban place?
I don't think that he was landed on any one faith, certainly not of the Shapers, but he's so well read, both of our own history here and the history from afar, and his own mother has seen to that. She's brought him no shortage of materials to read from abroad. And it is so interwoven with the long history of Kahad that he loves the lore and the value of it to our people and our community. And it is intoxicating to see this whole family and this young woman who embodies the meaning of the land.
You see that Siva looks over and says, after the fall of the Conqueror was a great farav given for the fallen soldiers, those that had surrounded and protected Shay Claw before she laid the smiting blow upon the dread tyrant's brow. There in that place, the druid Agari Shadow walked from the darkness and gave the first farav under the sky in thousands of years to celebrate the honored dead. As part of the farav, could any in attendance ask for a blessing, as was the custom, and still is, Blessings for the honored dead, for their family, the land, the mountains, the rivers, the sky. Tafkazi, dying on the field, the last war priest of Osgra, at the end of the Farav, bellowed out, demanding a blessing for the fallen conqueror, seeking in his last breath to despoil and blaspheme, asking for the first druid to speak in front of a crowd of orcs wishing for a better world. He sought to ask for a blessing for the conqueror, to despoil that moment and bring ruin to it. Ash on the ground, fire overhead. Agari said nothing could be easier. And you see that Siva looks out and looks to you, Thaisha, and with a moment of asking if you would want to do the reading here in this moment or not.
I think there's no hesitation, but she also doesn't step forward in any way. She's still holding your hand. But I think there's something in that, like, as she kind of goes away and isn't looking at her mom or her family, is just remembering this important memory of the world. I think whatever rings are on her hand begin to go hot in your hands, not in a way that burns or a way that she would even notice if you brought it up later. But yeah, she'll start. She's looking down in the grass, and I think the wind kicks up a little bit. She's not a druid yet, but I think this is the beginning of the world speaks for her and with her. He that seeks to destroy you is your teacher, and so we bless the conqueror for his lessons, which were many. We bless the conqueror for his craft, for he shaped us not as children, but as weapons, and a weapon knows no doubt or hesitation. We bless the conqueror for his hunger, for his appetite. In his appetite, he saw Ahriman forever changed from what it was to what it might be. A blessing to him then that the Ranyani reject peace in favor of a dream. And we bless him above all else for his honesty. Because of all the gods of Ahriman, ours was the only one who never lied about what he truly was. For his honesty, we bless him most of all.
The garden blooms, the wind blows. Siva speaks. At the final word of the blessing, did the skies crack and peal in thunder. Kahad knew rain that healed the land, light of sun and stars, and green and growing things bloomed here as never before in the world of Ahriman. So we celebrate our blooming. She gives you a kiss.
I think Hal would have said it better. He's like a really good actor.
An actor?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know anymore. Oh, dear. And you see she...
Please don't hold it against me.
Not at all. I'd be interested to hear what kind of shows you like to put on. And she smiles at you and says, I'm just kidding. And then she pauses for a moment and says, congratulations. And that's all for this scene. And that's all.
Oh my God.
We'll see.
Incredible. Incredible. She's the best great-grandma in the world.
And that's all for this scene. We'll continue with our schemers tonight on another episode of Critical Role.
Wow.
Wow.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Critical Role announcement Playhouse. Tonight, we got some quick announcements to get to before we jump back into Ahriman. Starting off with our sponsor, NordVPN. Sam, please take it away.
Pretty simple ad tonight, folks. Just going to read the teleprompter and tell you about NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro, designed to help you avoid malware. Threat Protection Pro blocks dangerous ads, stops you from entering malware hosting websites, and checks your downloads for malware, removing bad ones before they can harm your device. Help, I'm stuck in this teleprompter. Please get me out. That's weird. Maybe it's just a glitch. Just maybe roll ahead a little in the prompter. This isn't a glitch. I'm a real person. My name is Jesse McKeel, and I accidentally downloaded malware that cast a magic hex on me and banished my soul to the digital realm. All right. Is this a prank? Just scan ahead. Get back to the NordVPN stuff. No, this is real. Ironically, NordVPN would have protected me from this grim fate. I'm so scared, so alone. I sought refuge in this teleprompter, hoping that some handsome advertising personality would rescue me. Oh my God, guys, this is crazy. How do we get you out?
It's crazy on the thing.
I can't hear you. Teleprompters don't have audio, but if you do want to help me, you have to reverse the magic. The only way to reverse it is by passionately French kissing Marisha Ray in front of the teleprompter.
What?
I know it sounds crazy, but that's just how the magic works. You have to make out with Marisha Ray for no less than 3 minutes while listening to Just the Way You Are by Bruno Mars.
Classic.
Okay, I mean, I honestly wouldn't be mad about it, but that's a very nice try, Riegel. And I would maybe rather make out with a pile of dirty socks.
Marisha, first off, I'm offended. Second, this isn't me. This is Jesse talking. Listen, please, I miss my parents. No one has fed my dog in days. If Marisha Ray won't do it, the magic can still be broken if you make out with Ashley Johnson and Liam O'Brien in a freaky three-way situation while Thinking Out Loud by Ed Sheeran plays.
Okay, I mean,
It is.
Oh, it's not me, it's Jesse McKeel. It's the guy trapped in the thing. Okay, it says, now, if none of them will do it, how about a wet salami slap from Taliesin while playing a royalty-free music library song? I don't like that as much.
I'm into that.
No,
Let's
I
do
don't
that.
like that as much. Why do you have salami?
Huge salami.
You don't?
Three salamis.
Oh, look, the hex has been broken. Grab the exclusive NordVPN deal now at nordvpn.com/Critical Role and get 4 extra months. Try it risk-free now with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Matt, hack to you.
Ashley, we can still make out if you want.
Yeah, I'm down.
Can I see the salami?
Here, you can. Here, have.
It's really
Here, Travis, play with my salami.
Oh.
Oh. Yeah.
It's like a.
Well, friends, this would be a good time to get to our next sponsor,
Does it smell like Taliesin?
Seismic Squirrel! And their brand new video game, Aether and Iron, out now on Steam and Steam Deck. Keep your collar up and your head on a swivel. New York's running on Aether and broken promises, and every alley's got a toll. Aether and Iron drops you into a city where smuggling keeps the lights on, corruption brings power, and every choice leaves a mark. Set in a deco, punk-infused 1930s New York City in the clouds, this narrative-driven tactical RPG places you in the seat of a smuggler down on her luck. Roll the dice and choose who lives or dies as you navigate a conspiracy that threatens to consume the city. Assemble a loyal crew, soup up your ether-powered flying cars, buckle in for turn-based vehicular battles. Aether and Iron features a fully English voice cast of characters inspired by New York's rich history and is playable in 9 different text languages. What the shit? See what New York becomes when you stop playing by the rules and start writing your own destiny. Thank you, Seismic Squirrel, for sponsoring this episode.
Spoil.
I also really like that you said RPG.
RPG. I love playing tabletop RPGs. Liam, you're up.
I'm gonna get the papers. Get the papers. Coming next week on April 7th from our friends at Dark Horse, Vox Machina Origins Omnibus. Series 1 and 2. This omnibus includes Series 1 and 2 of Vox Machina Origins, written by Matthew Colville, illustrated by Olivia Sampson, colored by Chris Northrop and M. Sassy K, and lettered by Ariana Marr, all in collaboration with us. Available at your local comic
Yeah, when
shop.
it first came out, this is
Yep, it's the OG.
it's the original set. He's too busy with other stuff. Yeah, we have.
You shut your
Amazing
pretty
talent.
face. Available at your local comic shop and darkhorse.com.
Yeah! I think, I'm pretty sure that concludes our announcements. Pretty sure that there closes our announcements, so why don't we all just get back into Araman?
That looks so
Like in a baseball.
gross.
It's like a game when you're
Slapping it, slapping it.
Slap it. Slap it. Thank you,
Cut it,
Jesse
cut it.
McKeel.
We go.
and welcome back to another thrilling episode of Critical Role. We return to the schemers' table. Here with their schemy schemes, here in the city of Dol Makyar as the sun sets on the city of shields. We find that our companions have been so busy setting up various internship programs, talking about obfuscating through paperwork, and just liberating the arrested Master of Dramatis Arcana at the Hallowed Ren. Misha Undragor, with a split lip, has been pulled from the holding cell at the Brethren Hall, having been arrested by an associate of Azune Nayar, Shamadil Kafsara, who had arrested Misha on suspicion of collaboration with Demitis Blix, who they got a report had been seen stealing from Obermus Manor, the home hall here in Dol Makyar of the Sundered House of Tuconis. Your adventures in our last episode saw an investigation within the Palazzo Davinos, with some arcane abjurative scrubbing of the magical events that you knew for a fact took place there, with some intercession on behalf of the Lieutenant Nayar, and some quick arcane illusion work and enchantment on the part of Murray Magnesson and Bolaire Lathalia. The Inquisitor Grotto was made to see a false vision of true events, and reported to the Lord Herondus Einfasen that there had been foul play. This, in fact, was no journey into fairy, but was instead something far more foul, the murder.
Amityville horror, that motherfucker.
Love a biopic.
Love a biopic. Sometimes fiction must be rendered to find the truth. And speaking of fiction rendering truth, Hal released his cast early, having seen that everything's going well. Rehearsals are going well for the play, but Misha never showed up. On arriving, we also saw some investigation into this paint that was brought to Hal's doorstep by his late brother Thiazi. And with a massive group effort, our actually unanimously arcane table was able to piece together that under the minor illusory residue of some very high quality paints, the background hum of the cosmos, Ahriman rippling with the powers of conjuration and necromancy. While the ultimate effect of this was not gleaned, some really interesting theories were posited that seemed to align with the available information. Our arcane marshal, Azune, said some of this may be, if it doesn't seem to be a finished spell, the nature of components. And seeing, in fact, before her divinatory eyes, Murray Magnesson saw that, there was something missing from this, as after all, a stage can only be set, but the play's the thing that finishes the spell. Looking at the ripples of magical tapestry before her, Murray could only sit in awe and reverence and say, this is going to be a damn good show. After which you guys thundered out across the city to go and find, as we have stated, Misha Undragor, who'd been arrested, and were able to piece together some pieces of this Demitis Blix mystery, this young gnomish illusionist who we had seen in memory meet Bolaire, who he even named his little soapbox he performed his Marketplace Illusions on, the Bolaire Center for the Performing Arts. This lovely young gnome who you had offered to look after as best you could had lost his ability to perform in the marketplace, and therefore it seemed perhaps had maybe taken a job, one that he perhaps should not have. However, hope remains, as if your enemies are searching for him, that can only mean one thing: they don't yet have him. We return to Dol Makyar, here outside the Brethren Hall, in the fray just south of Rubblecliff, as you exit with Misha, who Hal you have invited to stay with you at your home in the Rookery. Misha looks out at all of you. Those marshals certainly meant business. Hal, are you certain it's all right for me to stay with you?
Yes. In fact, it's sort of required. So, just for the foreseeable future, you and I are tighter than normal.
All right, understood. I didn't do anything.
I know, old friend.
I didn't even cast a... We were nowhere near the marketplace, and I didn't even cast a spell. We were just talking about theory. That's not illegal.
You're just a stepping stone to what they're after. They're grasping at straws, trying to find somebody else.
The kid?
Well, I'm not going to pretend to know exactly what's going on, but I know you.
Oh, I don't like this one bit. Lieutenant, for whatever it's worth, I'm sure if Daymond was somewhere that he shouldn't have been, Obermus Manor, it has to have been a misunderstanding. I'll say anything if I hear anything, but he's a good kid. He's grew up in the city. He's been coming to shows since he was before he was even a teenager.
We're not doubting the character of him. We're gonna see what we can do. I think the less you talk, the better. If anybody comes, tell them you've already spoken to me.
All right, Lieutenant Nayar, I'll tell them exactly that.
And if you do hear anything, keep it between everyone in this room, for starters. Don't spread word to anyone that we don't know.
Give me a persuasion check, Bolaire.
25.
You see that Misha nods and looks around. He has a sort of furrowed expression on his brow as he looks at you saying, like, keep it just between the people in this room. He's looking at a museum curator and a university professor and an officer of the law and his old friend and employer and the leader of his troop. So there's a lot of institutional openness, and who doesn't like museums and universities and playhouses and someone who's trying to detect arcane threats in the city? But there's a way in which you are communicating, tell just us in this room, that makes him look around in that way where you're like swimming and you're like, I assume I'm in a pond. I'm in the ocean. Like, it's the same treading water, but a sudden feeling of impossible depth and how sort of haunting that request is washes over him. Got it. I'll tell. Just us. It's all people I can trust. So that makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. All right. Well, I'll should I keep company with you, or am I all right to?
Where are we going now? I know I have to keep that appointment with Roundtree. See if we can figure anything out about where Unfastened is coming from in all of this.
I would like to stop by my apartments, leave a message for Blix in case he decides that my home would be a place worth crashing out in. I may need you for that.
Yeah, I could slide by his dormitory. Be willing to bet money he's not there. That would be incredibly stupid of him, but we might be able to uncover some clues as to where he's gone.
We were talking about if you went deep underground.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I would go.
It's the only place to go if he's on the run from those people that are in power.
Marisha, what all they say about the young man? Places they've already looked and failed. Anything stand out?
They threw me around the room. They said that they said they already knew that at first they were talking like they already had him in custody, and they were trying to ask me questions about how I had helped him. And then they started to ask if I knew his whereabouts, and then I was confused because it seemed like they'd already had him, but they might have just been saying that to try to get me to say more.
Okay.
What they seem to know already They said that they knew that he had been at the Tuconis estate at Obermus Manor. And I asked where, and they said it wasn't my place to ask any questions, so I stopped. But I'll be honest, to whatever degree I can be a judge of character, they didn't seem to have any details. They seemed frustrated. So I said, what was he there trying to steal? And they told me to shut up, but I don't think they knew what he was there trying to steal.
I don't know how worthwhile his dormitory would be at this point. I'm sure it's already been flipped. If anything, they would probably be watching to see who stopped by.
Yeah.
That would be my thought.
You have any tea?
At home, yeah.
Aren't we home? Are we
home?
You can be. Yeah, you guys can walk on back over to the Rookery, right? Which is like, because it's near 7 Stars where your meeting's going to be. So if you guys head back to the Rookery and drop off Misha there.
Yeah, let's escort him.
Let's assume, yeah.
Yeah. You go and escort Misha. Do you do anything as you're approaching Hal's home?
I had see invisibility up at the end. I don't know how long that lasts, though. Let me look right now.
I mean, I think probably it makes sense to try to stay kind of low key upon approach, and at least try to see if any of our friends from the other night are casing the spot.
So we're being followed.
We might be.
See invisibility lasts for 1 hour.
Okay. Go ahead, and anyone who wants to give me a perception check.
I mean,
yeah.
Might as well.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine on approach, we already have precedent.
Cool.
20 total.
20 total. Dirty 20. With that see invisibility, you guys head up the street and do not see a carriage parked outside. See invisibility doesn't register anything for you, but it's more just the practice of realizing there may well be someone waiting for you there. Doesn't look like they are, which means that there's also those 2 mercenaries down at the corner appear to be gone as well as you walk up here. As you guys approach, you drop Misha off, says, all right, I'll make myself at home. And so he walks in and says, oh, Thiazi's body is
We're going to see to things tonight.
All right. That sounds good.
Small. Going to keep it with the family.
Yeah, understood. And he leaves you guys to your business.
You know what, do me a favor. I think we should all assume that we're being watched pretty much all the time. So just be a homebody. Help yourself to whatever food you find in the kitchen. Relax. There is tea.
I'll put on a kettle.
Relax.
He goes and gets a kettle up, started with some tea.
Hal, returning to this place where I had that encounter with the member of the Candacean Creed, it reminds me of the meeting that you've been summoned to with House Haluvar. And I have a sneaking suspicion that since we have Tuconis taking the Penteverol, Cormoré taking the museum, Einfossen taking the Revolutionary Guard, someone who is the head of a cult might take great interest in where stories are told and where theater happens. Think they're going to try to lay claim to you.
A little bit feels like walking in the lion's den at that place after our visitors the other night. But that's every side. Every side now. What time of the day are we at, ish?
Last few minutes of sunlight. Probably getting close to like 4:35 p.m. Sunset's a little bit early here.
Okay. And I'm trying to remember where we arranged the Roundtree meeting.
7 Stars.
7 Stars.
All right, so I'm looking at the map. We're there. There's your house.
7 Stars is not far.
Yeah, no, you're right around the block.
Yeah.
Where's my place?
Where is your place?
Oh, is it on the map yet? No, put it on the map.
Put it on the map. You're in Sir Ogremock's marketplace.
Yeah, where?
Place.
Yep, there we are.
Well,
Okay, that's not too terribly far.
You see, the Rookery is and also the Rookery is on the east side of the river, which tends to be the much quieter side of the city. It doesn't fall. The highway on the western side that side of the city is much larger.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot more action there. So this is a nicer, quieter place.
I love our little map.
I know.
The little map is so nice.
It's really nice. Shout out to, I think Jared put this working together. It's really nice.
It's perfection.
It's great.
I feel like talking to Romina Roundtree about the estate she works in is like the easiest thing to check off the list, and I want to just clear decks.
Yes.
We can start talking about bigger swings after that, whatever they may be. Do you all want to come with, or are you talking about heading by school?
I guess that's a question for you. Like, do you feel like she might not be as open and amenable to sharing secrets if it's to a council of four of us? But we could do 2 and 2. We could split the party.
I'm getting more and more concerned about us getting caught in something by ourselves.
Right.
Staying together.
I'm also getting concerned about us running out of time.
At both points.
Well,
how long do we have before this meeting?
I mean, it's soonish, right?
Yeah.
Well, we can.
Probably waiting for you soon.
I'll say too, you guys do actually. I mean, it's very funny to bring this up in a D&D campaign. You guys do need to eat dinner. Like you guys are running around all day and are probably. I mean, some of us need to eat dinner, but
yes, he's constantly snacking.
But in other words, stopping by the Seven Stars to take care of business and get a quick bite is on your way to pretty much everything else. You could make the decision to even like split the party after doing that.
I could use a short rest.
Then let's.
Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't you guys just, because I am a little concerned. To approach this situation with even a small crowd around. This could be a total dead end, but if it isn't, she's going to be trepidatious, even if it's just me. So why don't we just keep it me and you three?
Grab a bite to eat.
Grab something to eat downstairs.
We'll be right outside.
I will say, and I hate to put this in your head, but if you get the sense that she's holding back, I might be able to help, if as a last resort. In fact, I could probably help as a last resort.
Okay. Just in a benign manner?
I suppose that depends on one's perspective. It wouldn't be terrible. In fact, she wouldn't feel bad about it at all if I do it properly.
All right, noted. Noted, but she is one step removed from family, so
which is why I ask and don't just...
Thanks. Thank you.
So we should all head to the Seven Stars, give you space with her, and we will rest up a little and gather our thoughts.
Yeah, why don't I head in ahead of you?
All right.
By a few.
Okay. I would like just one moment before you walk in with you, just to help you with something. Let's head there together. You can enter on your own.
Okay.
And I'll follow you towards the Seven Stars.
Okay.
And I need your help with a candle during food.
A candle?
Yes, I'm going to need a candle of a particular color.
Okay.
The flame or the candle?
Not the flame, but I would like to let it burn as much as it needs.
Great.
All right, I assume we're nearing the spot.
You guys head out from your house, leaving Misha to set up some tea and make himself at home, and head around the corner towards the Seven Stars. Once again, a lovely theater district establishment where you see there's a lot of people out here playing and gallivanting. Seven Stars always manages to have a pretty broad assortment of folks in here. It's like a lot of, well-to-do, orcish, working people in the city. And there are also, I think, a lot of like off the beaten path types. The Rookery still has plenty of eccentrics that live here, so this tends to be a pretty lively and colorful establishment. You walk in and you can see, as you are walking ahead of everybody else, that Inez is waiting near the door. This is a muscular, athletic, seasoned orcish woman who you see as you walk in, looks to you and says, Hal, I just heard about Misha. What the?
He's fine. It's not good, but he's all right. He's at my house.
Okay. Romina's here.
Okay.
I just told her that you wanted to talk, not about anything.
Sure.
So I want to let you get the first, however you want to describe what it is you want to talk to her about.
Well, I thought it'd be good if we talked to her together.
Yeah.
Would you sit with me?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to sit here in the common room, or do we want to go somewhere more private?
No, I have a private room here. I think this is better without eyes and ears.
Great. She walks over. You see that there, sitting at the table, is a woman who is clearly related to Inez facially. They have some familial resemblance, but is maybe like 8 inches shorter than her. So like one of them got all of the athletic prowess and the other sister got almost none of it. She looks like much, still kind of broad shouldered, and she's got like you can tell her hands are like callous. She's been like working her whole life. But you see she looks up and has a bag next to her that clearly has her change of clothes. She has like a maid's uniform in a satchel beside her, but now it has like been done up for like a night of drinking. She has like some earrings on and has some nicer clothes on. She looks up as you approach and says, Hal, a long time no see. It's a pleasure to see you.
Miss Roundtree, thank you. Thank you for agreeing to meet on such short notice. Been a few months.
It has been a few months. Oh God, I'm so sorry. There's nothing I can say, but I
Minute by minute. Taking it as it comes.
I always remember growing up in the neighborhood, there was one time that I got picked on because I wasn't, I had a hard time. We were playing hopscotch and I couldn't make it the last big jump, and I was getting teased, and your brother threw a rock at Gregor's face and hit him in the nose, and it got a bloody nose. And I was I screamed and was horrified, but I don't like that kind of violence, but afterwards it was very touching.
I love my brother. I have a lot of good stories. He definitely could be a bit of a shit. So.
Yeah, but he was our shit, and we'll miss him very dearly.
Our shit, indeed. Pardon me, I'm so sorry. I am going to step out just for a second. I want to, I have a lot on my mind, and I just want to get all my ducks in a row. Inez, would you take your sister, ask the proprietor. There's a room upstairs. He'll know what I'm talking about, and I'll be there in 2 minutes. Have you eaten? Do you need anything? Would you like...
I was planning to eat back at home. You see, Inez sort of takes the cup from me and says, please, no, Romina, let's have some food here. They have a wonderful kitchen. I'll get us something ordered. We'll be upstairs.
Okay. I scuttle back out and pop out, and I assume you're still out there?
I'm probably with a menu in hand.
Oh, you're in, okay.
Just looking at what they might have since we're here to eat.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I walk over near the table, but I don't look at you at all, and just say, all right, I'm gonna figure out what I can figure out. Anything on your mind before I go in?
How come you got something on and I'm just gonna brush your forearm. And in doing that, I'm actually casting guidance on you. You feel like a Rolodex of memories go through your mind, and you settle on one that calms you. And you feel it absorbed in your mind and your body. I'm guidancing your persuasion.
Okay. I'm remembering a time where I had to talk my little shit brother out of a real bit of trouble in the neighborhood after he broke somebody's window and pulled it off. That's what comes to mind. And then I turn on my heel and swing by the bar, pay for a bottle of wine, and carry it upstairs with me.
Beautiful. Lockmere's here and says, there you are, one of our fine vintages, middle shelf. And
keep your tap running.
You head upstairs. For the three of you, where do you head? There's a big common area with some tables. Tables are rapidly filling up as it's approaching dinner time. Where do you guys all sit?
Is there one that's like kind of in the corner or someplace a
corner's the
little
best.
bit off the way?
Give me give me a little investigation check. Low DC, we'll call it DC 10.
Okay. Dirty 20.
You look around.
Nice.
I think there are two places. There's a little corner with a window that's facing the street, which is always nice. You can see who's coming or going, but you'd be visible to people on the street. There's another back corner that hasn't filled up yet that you'd have to probably like sweet talk your way into because it's like for a bigger party and it's like about to be a dinner rush. However, that one also has vantage on this lower sunken area. This place has a main dining room, a couple outdoor seats, and then around a corner there's a little sunken level which has sometimes live music, and they also have there are no dealers here. It is not a casino, but they permit gambling between people in the back room, so you can play your own game of poker. They have a table for billiards back there and stuff like that, and that corner table sees both rooms.
Okay, and that's the bigger one you said?
The bigger one.
All right, I'm gonna go to Lockmere. Lockmere, how are you doing?
Professor, how you doing?
I'm great. We would love a little bit of dinner. Is it okay if we take that back table? You say I've got I think I got like a little bit of a
Bellows fever.
cold.
It's going around. It's deadly.
Is that true?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Do you have bellows fever?
I don't think it's that bad yet. I just don't want to, I think if we're a little bit off of, away from the crowds, I wouldn't want to get anybody else sick.
Go ahead and give me a persuasion check.
Okay.
Don't
Bellows
touch your
fever.
nasty.
Don't anyone touch my nasty. Persuasion, you
Persuasion.
said? Wow. We're going to get in a fight, and I'm going to roll terribly.
Yes.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
Yes.
He goes, of course. So take the big table over in the corner.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much.
Of course. Don't cough on me. Please.
I'm looking at the menu. I approached with you. I'm looking at the menu as you're leaving. Lockmere, do you have, I'm looking at the items that you have. Do you serve ass?
Yes.
Good.
Do you serve ass?
Right. You
Donkey
have
steak.
a palate for that, don't you?
Oh.
I figured you've had a long day. I figured I'd get you something that is to your liking. 2 ass steaks.
Lovely. I'll cook that right up.
I'm not sure if Bolaire
A poivre?
enjoys that.
Just why?
What a callback.
Man, I could eat some ass.
I love a good ass as much as the next man. But
3 ass steaks.
And one for you, chef's recommendation or temperature?
I don't know if that's a house liking, so
certainly,
he can have some of mine if he.
I'll have a plate as well. Try to spend money using the table.
Try anything once.
Should I?
Or twice.
How did you get the table? Well done.
Talking real good.
Huh.
Yeah.
I would have just said I had bellows or something.
Yeah.
I take my seat.
You take your seat.
Join the boys.
I may take a quick. If you think it's a reasonable idea, I may take a quick walk outside and make this vanish for a moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna step outside for some air and many faces myself into something a little less. I'm gonna keep the face I had earlier.
Great.
And just make. I'm basically just gonna do a palette swap with Hal's outfit, more or less.
Great.
Just a little. Just still in the black and red because I do love it, and just still with a little bit of the curl, but it's
gorgeous.
Much.
Well,
head back inside.
All three of you with these lovely ass steaks coming to the table can take a short rest.
Wonderful.
That's ass.
What do I get from this?
Well, you certainly get ass. So good start.
Do a little arcane recovery situation.
Lovely.
So jealous.
How, as you, also, let me know if any of you, by the way, don't want to, for whatever reason, take a short rest. If there's anything, if some of you are like, it doesn't make a difference to you.
It doesn't make a difference to me. And honestly, I don't know if he is got the right temperament to be able to relax enough.
Relax enough, cool.
I doesn't, it does nothing for me either, so, but.
Hal, heading upstairs, you get up to the beautiful little aviary, and you see there's some candles lit. Romina and Inez are up here. Lockmere follows you to take everyone's dinner order. You see that Romina looks up and says, I'll get the pot roast, if that's okay. And you see...
Don't hold back anything on the menu.
Oh gosh, can I? I'll do the grilled sprouts with bacon. And you see that she says, "This is so kind, Hal. Thank you so much for treating. It's very appreciated."
It is the very least that I can do. Inez, thank you for facilitating this. I'm almost embarrassed of myself to even broach this with you. So thank you for taking time out of your week to come by. And yes, it has been a trying couple of days. I'm juggling everything at the Hollow Round, of course, but much larger on my mind is the loss of my brother. And, I'm hanging in. Family's hanging in. So, all that to say, I appreciate you helping me in this moment. So, as much as I'd like to spend the week just reflecting on family and my brother, I have to worry still a little bit about my business. So
your opening night is in like a week, right?
Very, very close. And I'm just going to say outright and confess my motives for bringing you here tonight are absolutely selfish, or at least for the theater, for the troupe. I'm sure I don't need to point out how unstable things have felt in recent weeks. I mean, it's just sort of coming out of the stones of the city. And I've been working many years to reach this very week, to put on this very show. And a lot of things have been put in place, and contracts and agreements with the city have been put in place, and I've had an understanding, sorry, I don't want to bore you with the details, with the city for the type of stagecraft and the small amount of magical sprinkling we do on our work here, and everything has been given a go-ahead. But it feels like in the last few weeks that is becoming a little more slippery than it's been, and I just don't know. I haven't known if I could rely on that, and with so much at stake. I'm trying to understand if we're good to proceed. And I would have hung back, but today, my main instructor from the rookery, who I believe you've met through your sister once or twice, Misha, was hauled in.
Misha?
Hauled in today and put some hard questioning put to, and we got him out, but it was pretty unpleasant. And I am trying to get my brain wrapped around where the guard are at. And I know it is asking a lot, but I know where you work. I know you serve in an Ironfassen estate. And if you don't know anything, we can share this bottle of wine and have a meal, and I'll look forward, I hope, to seeing you at the play in a week. But if you would feel comfortable sharing anything you might have heard around the house about the guard's headspace or the Ironfassen family, I'm just trying to protect, and I look to Inez in this moment. I'm just trying to protect our family, our theater family.
Go ahead and give me a persuasion check, and you can also give me an insight check, too.
Insight check, too. And you had...
Guidance on persuasion.
Okay, so I'll put that on persuasion, yeah. 14 plus... okay, that is a total of 25 for persuasion.
25 persuasion.
And then back that up with a much worse insight. 10.
10 insight. Typically, I set difficulties. A good like guideline I go by is bronze medal at 15, silver medal at 20, and gold medal at 25. With a 25 persuasion, Romina looks at you. You have a very hard time reading her, and realize that Romina has a plastered on face of polite acceptance, and realize that that's maybe why she's been able to hold down a job at the Einfasen estate for about 7 years. She looks and goes, "You're nervous. You're coming to me because the Lord Wikander has gone missing, right? I mean, I know that he was that all of the clearances that I only hear a fraction of what goes on, but I know that you got approved for the Hallowed Round because House Halevar was pulling for you. Effectively there was one that the young scion of the house, the heir to the Photarch, was a friend of yours, or?
Sure. Yes. A new colleague, we'll say.
If he has suddenly stopped answering your messages, or you can't get him on call anymore, get audience with him anymore, you may not have lost favor with House Halevar. He's been missing. He's been missing for about 2 days.
2 days?
Yeah. I know this is insane, but the family, the Photarch came by, the Stahlkeep, came by the Einfasen estate. It's chaos. They don't know where he is.
Are they floating any reasons to why or who?
Well, they're pretty upset that their scion has gone missing the same day that the Royce family decided to return to Ferry. No one knows forgive the language, what the F is going on.
Does Einfasen have a response?
No, I have never... I think that any Einfasen, in my time working with the Einfasen, responses are delayed until they can be overwhelming. They're not going to do anything until they can do it with such overwhelming, decisiveness and force. So this is where and how they hate to operate, is not knowing. There was an arrest made at the behest. Sorry. Hal, I
don't want you to divulge anything that would put your bacon in the fire.
Okay. I can't always be the best. I was talking to Greta about this, about gossip and everything else like that. If word came back to you, I just need you. I don't know. I want to tell you what's going on, but if anything ever comes back to me, I'm in a tremendous amount of danger.
Maybe we don't need names.
Okay. Maybe the thing would be, if I tell you something, who else knows about it?
Meaning, if you tell me, where is it being shared?
Where is it being shared?
If you need it to be kept to me, it will be.
What I would love is if I tell you something and you think that it is going to spread beyond you, please tell me that. And I'll just try to say, maybe if you tell people how you know something, make something else up. There was an arrest in Riesengirdle of the forces of House Royce, Davinos, Elbrendi, several of the Royce vassal houses. They were arrested at the behest of House Taconis. They said that there was a traitor in their midst, and my lord's uncle, the Lord Herondis' uncle, Lord Otto, the head of House Einfasen, has been trying to work out a follow-up on where that information has come from, and it's been a few days. There's already been a pigeon back from Riesengirdle, and there's but within all of it, there was a visit that was paid to the Stahlkeep, which was from the young Lord Ethrend Taconis, who was apologizing because Lord Primus, who had been in residence at Obermus Manor, had to leave the city suddenly and won't be back for several days in the midst of all of these goings on. But the Lord Otto has requested an audience, that an immediate audience is needed with the heads of all of the Sundered houses.
Any idea of how soon that would be transpiring?
Well, I think that's what the young Lord Ethan was responding to. Is he said that he can't even get in touch with his father. Right. So there's incredible urgency from one of the heads of the Sundered houses, and the response has been effectively a polite way of saying we don't know where our head of house is, which is staggering. I mean, the Sundered houses have holdings over the vast breadth of Pacitar. The amount of coordination that's required is staggering for your own child to not know where you are, how to find you. Mm-hmm. So I don't know that Lord Herondis frankly believes that. But why the stalling? I don't know.
So a little bit of unrest at the top there.
Well, and a little bit of unrest and a little bit of what do you need time for? I think the Halavars are, forgive the pun, incandescent with rage.
That was pretty good.
Thank you. If you ever need a writer, she says, I also know that word.
Sorry.
I also know that word. I've been bidden to report the minute that a pigeon comes back from the Golden Orchard, reaching out to the lady Maya Davinos, who's in residence there, while the lady Aranessa is traveling, and there's been no pigeon back from the Golden Orchard. Not even one to say that the lady. I mean, just no response. So, the time is very, very short. It's possible that there's been a storm. Pigeon was waylaid. We're still within a reasonable time frame that maybe a response is still on its way back. Mm-hmm. But,
And as you said at the beginning of this conversation, the Halavar home, one of the Halavars, has become a bit of a patron of the arts. Apparently is missing now. So I would hope that his opinion holds weight with the family, but I'm, again, trying to weigh what we're allowed to do at the theater, and it feels like the law is starting to tighten. around the rules and practitioners. Have you heard anything about any kind of friction between Halavar, where my patron stems from, and the police?
From House Halavar?
Einfassen to Halavar, or reverse, or both? Just trying to understand that. The forces around me.
Well, all I know, I don't know where the Lord Wikander has gone, but I know that he was the loudest voice within the Halavar family for the arts. Rumor has it that he actually fell in love with an actress, if you can believe that. That's a bit of subtle, but that's...
It can happen.
She says, but in terms of friction between the Einfassen and the... Well, there had been some meetings about the Sons of the Dawn, which I had overheard the Lord Felonius talking to Lord Einfassen about. There was going to be a delay on one of the Lord Einfassen's plans until the Halavar family was prepared to I believe that the Halavar family was gathering financial resources together to be able to acquire a tremendous amount of mercenary contracts.
Okay.
But every...
Coordinated.
Yes. Relations between... I would say the relations between the Halavars and the Einfassen are quite positive. From my reading. When the Photarch... I only overhear bits and pieces. I never stay in a room long enough to hear the full context of a conversation, but I know that the Photarch was upset with Lord Einfassen in a way that, to me, registered as honesty, if that makes sense. I've worked around nobles for 7 years. When it's all smiles, that's when I stay out of the way.
All right. Well, that was a lot. And very, very helpful. Romina, thank you. Thank you.
I will keep an ear out if I hear anything about this Lord. Without the Lord Wikander, I don't know how easy it will be to protect the theater. The rumor that I've heard going around from staff everywhere is that the Lord Wikander was a deeply kind and conscientious man, that he treated his staff and servants with kindness, that some of the other Halavar cousins don't exactly follow the rules of their faith very diligently, and that is not what I've heard of the Lord Wikander. So you had someone in your corner that you've lost, and if you can't get him back, I think that there's going to be trouble, because I don't think, from what I've heard, the Lord Wikander's older sister is not in the practice of doling out favors without expectation of an extreme return on her investment.
Well, that is not the reassuring news I'd been hoping for, but it does confirm some suspicions. Though, him missing. This is the first it's reaching my ears. Are they keeping this on the down low?
Yes, they haven't announced anything to the guard or anything like that. When the Photarch was speaking with Lord Herondus, they were mentioning the last that the Draconis had communicated to everybody. They were desperately searching for a wayward son of their family. I think who's actually a student here in Dol Makyar. And people were putting out feelers for that, and there had been a rumor that came actually from a friend of mine who had been dropping off supplies for the gala over at the Palazzo Davinos, that someone had seen Octus Draconis there. I don't know if that's actually true or not, but suffice it to say, a lot of nobles have gone missing in a very short amount of time. the Lady Aranessa Royce appears to have returned to Fairy, and I just heard the Photarch mention the doors to Fairy opening, and there was a aside she made to the Lord Herondus about her grandson and what the Tokonis might know. I don't know what was true or not true. Have you seen a lion man?
I have. Yes.
I mean, not just like out in the world.
No, I just fresh in my mind, an old friend of my brother's came to pay his respect when we had everyone over at the house.
We actually had to explain to the Candescent crew, to the Lord Felonius Halavar, who's been searching for, I didn't overhear the name, but they've been searching for a Nama warrior, because we actually have a Nama staying at the Stahlkeep right now. The Lord Herondus is hosting a small envoy from Argosia at the moment that just got into town. There's one of the Lord's minister is a Nama diplomat. But that I'm rambling. I'm just so nervous. Well,
I tell you what, obviously if you feel like you've given me so much, and I would sooner give over mine own tongue than betray the trust you've placed in me, and I don't need to share it with anybody. It's just trying to get a better footing for Inez and the family here at the Round. But if you think of anything, you can always send word through your sister.
Well, I'll be back there later tonight in the dead of night for a little graveyard shift. Not that they'll be paying me overtime hours, but we'll be on I'll be back there a lot. I've been cleaning Falcon shit off of Einfasen uniforms for what feels like 48 hours straight, so I'll be around. All I can see in my mind's eye is that rock sailing through the air. The one that hit that bully in the nose. And just thinking about, it's been so awful. And the other maids, while we're in the laundry room, they keep talking about how it's gone too far and it's all going to swing back. And they keep saying it like it's an article of faith. Like it's too far, something's going to happen to push it back. And I just think about Thiazi throwing that rock, and I wonder if it doesn't push back on its own. Someone somewhere picks up a rock. So, if this is me picking up my rock, then I'm happy to do it.
I appreciate your honesty and your bravery. Please be safe. As far as tonight's concerned, you and your sister just came here to get a bite to eat.
I won't mention anything to anyone. And maybe, I won't mention anything to anyone. And if I hear anything, I won't send word to you, I'll send word to Inez.
Okay. All right, well, hopefully everything's all smiles, at least to the end of the week. And we can get this show on its feet. And please come join us.
I will. I'll come join you. Lash, he is playing the main character, right?
Mm-hmm. Merzat himself.
He's great. Is he
Merzat or Lash?
Lash.
Lash, yes.
I actually don't know the history super well, but yeah, let me know if there's going to be something after the play as well.
There is. There always tends to be.
Great.
I'll introduce you to Lash.
What? Where did that come from? Okay. Well, that's really sweet. That's great. Thanks, Hal.
Thank you. All the gratitude is mine.
You see that Inez says, "Thanks, Hal. If you're busy, we can finish up dinner here."
Yeah, I'll head downstairs.
We cut from there back down to our table with our friends who are short resting, or who is not short resting here.
I'm not. I think I'm just. If I would have done anything with time passing, I would have very anxiously sat at the table, eating a little bit of ass, and looking around.
Just a dollop.
Just a dollop.
Dollop of ass.
How's your ass tasting?
Very tender.
Yes. Mine's undercooked.
Oh no. You want to send it
It's
back?
a little too raw.
A little too too pink.
I would have tried to happen.
I can't even recall the first beat of this, so this is all new to me.
It's
I love
Marisha's
it.
fault.
Marisha's
for the record.
For the record.
3 episodes ago or something.
Excuse me. Could I please get a different ass with a little more seasoning?
Yours looks really buttery.
That's how I like it.
Okay, good. If I could have managed it, I would have tried to have a detect magic ritual activated, but I don't know.
Killer. I think that's no sweat. You can have detect magic up.
Okay.
Give me a.
I am keeping an active look on people.
Both of you give me either perception or insight.
And it's really hard to eat ass when you wear a mask.
Don't knock it
People
till you
have
try
done
it.
Okay. Ooh.
That's what the rest of the game is about.
Honestly, it's the undertone. 22.
21.
21. I think both of you looking around on that perception can see that Murray is fundamental. I think, Murray, you're like doing your arcane recovery, so you're like reviewing some spell stuff. You might even be reviewing some of those internship things.
Internships and shit.
EOD.
Still due by the end of the day. By EOD, baby.
EOD. But for the two of you, you look around. The game room is actually quite. The game room is actually quite smoky. There is not only a small fire burning in a little sort of like chimney area, but a lot of people just happen to be like smoking pipes, and it's a little bit sunken. You can see that there are even some like stone archways along the ground, like it was an old maybe like wine cellar that got bricked up back here or something like that. You see that it's a rowdier room. There are a few people playing billiards. There are a few people playing billiards here, and the card tables are all full. You see there is one 4-person card table. There's one 4-person card table that's right sort of in the back. On that 21 and 22, I think you guys look and see a kind of staggering amount of money has been put out on that table. There's like a lot of coin riding on that table. There looks to be 4 people that you can see playing there. There is what looks like a sort of dashing, either a human merchant or aristocrat or something like that. To his left, there is this hulking kind of bruisers, a thick biceps, thick forms, looks to be human as well, sort of like leather vest. He's got a broadsword at his side. Around the table from him, there is a gnomish smuggler who, Azune, you would actually recognize as Pimley Morn.
Pimley Morn?
Pimley Morn, who appears to be putting up some pretty serious lucre. He's got a big stack behind him. And then across from the big human bruiser, there is an orcish woman who looks to have a spellbook at her side, looks to be a traveling wizard. And I think you just see this sort of game being played here in front of everybody. And I think what you know, there's a lot of tables filled with all sorts of eccentrics here in the Rookery here at the Seven Stars. What catches you is that this human aristocrat is sort of speaking very openly to the Bruiser. You see the Bruiser's got like salt and pepper beard, a sort of shock of like salt and pepper hair, and a big scar that runs over an eye deep down into his cheek. You see that the aristocrat talking to the Bruiser goes like, and of course, I mean, you know, in the marketplace, something like this occurring, you have magic being cast openly, you're trying to sell your wares, and someone is reading your mind or otherwise enchanting you. It's completely untenable. I think that the Chamber of Lords Advisory is completely within their right to outlaw magic in the marketplace. Do that at the university if you're going to do it anywhere. And it appears to be having a very like political conversation at the table.
Do those on the receiving end of that conversation seem to be on board with what he's saying, or is there like, or is it tense?
Or are they looking paid?
Yeah, that too.
You see that they do not actually give me insight checks, both of you.
Okay.
18.
Thank you.
Azune, no one looks paid. They all look fed up with this human aristocrat.
Okay, great.
You see that the Bruiser goes, it's fascinating, that is. So they're outlawing it because it's fundamentally dangerous. How do you feel about that, Anisha? Because you said you're from Dol Makyar originally. And you see that the woman across goes, I spent some years here as a young girl, but I'm not from here originally. You see, he says, do you agree with this outlawing of magic in the marketplace? See, she shrugs and says, as a wizard, it is probably not best for me to say openly how I truly feel, but I will just say that the law in its majestic equality forbids the rich and poor alike from stealing bread. And you see that the aristocrat goes, exactly! And you see that she sort of rolls her eyes. And you see that the Bruiser turns over to the gnome and goes, and my friend Pimley, you said you're, and you see that Pimley sort of sweeps up and goes, I'm a merchant. And you see, it says, merchant, yeah. So this is probably for the best for you that they've outlawed magic here in the marketplace. Or do you not work in the marketplace? You see Pimley says, no, I work around. I work in the marketplace sometimes I'm elsewhere, you know, work where work comes along, but I say the law, you know, let the law do. You gotta let the law do what it's gonna do, you know. It's like it's the rules, so you gotta follow them. Let's play cards, guys. What do you say, huh? And you see that the big Bruiser guy looks over at him and says, "You get there because you got a winning hand, don't you?" And you see that the gnome looks at him, and you see that the big Bruiser goes, yeah, a little bit eager to get back to play. All right, I fold, and puts his cards in, and you see the gnome goes, fuck, God! And you see as he says that, you see the Bruiser again looks at him and goes like, you shouldn't have yelled like that because it's actually still to Anisha. You could take more of her money. Yeah, so that's the conversation you see unfolding at the table.
Okay, interesting. I will
want to fuck with it, but yeah, hold on.
Well, you're seeing what I'm saying, aren't you? Across the line.
Oh yes.
I wonder if they're underbelly of the city types, and if they might be able to answer some questions about where someone may have gone off to.
Underbelly of the city types.
Well, maybe all minus one, maybe two of them for sure.
Do you play cards?
Me? I play. I didn't.
Dude, you don't
pick.
you don't have to look at that.
No, but I always make it a point to make sure I'm proficient in a gaming set.
In a gaming set,
and I'm not.
Are you proficient in Yu-Gi-Oh?
No, I don't play anything. Apparently, I don't have any fun. We're not allowed to have fun.
I will allow you to be proficient in a gaming set.
Oh,
please.
thank you, Dungeon Master.
I'm taking Beyblades.
I'm seeing 1,000 comments right now going, OP, the GM allows you to be proficient in gaming sets.
How did I miss that?
Yeah, you can be proficient in cards if you like.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm proficient in cards. I will probably say it just like that to you, actually.
Clearly.
Yes, I've played a game or two. You want to challenge him to a game?
I don't know. I'm so curious about this. Part of me just wants to humiliate him terribly.
Well, go for it. I don't know how much they'll like an arcane marshal approaching them and asking them to play some cards.
How much money do I have on me? That's a question. Probably a bit, but not a ton. How much money is being thrown at this table?
You look and see on that last hand, like 20 gold pieces went up.
High rollers.
Wow. I know I'm gonna look. I'm just because I'm curious if I actually have anything in my money wise. If I actually have anything in my box, or if I've not dealt with it. I don't think I've dealt with it. That's okay. How much? Oh, actually, I do. I have 38 gold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Anything left in your box after eating so much ass?
I was hoping. Thank you. Thank you for being you. I need it so often. Yeah, keep an eye out.
Okay. I mean, I feel like you're demonstrating interest in them, and that's satisfying me enough. If you have something that you want to do with them, by all means. Is there any candlelight here?
There is. There's a lot of candlelight here, actually.
I'm just gonna see. I'm gonna sort of lean back, take the room in a little bit more, and I'm going to cast Control Flames.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to, whatever source of light is more central in the room,
mm-hmm.
I'm going to change the color of it to blue, the same blue that we saw.
Lovely.
And I just want to see if anyone reacts to that.
Give me an insight check.
16 insight.
The gnomish smuggler, his eyes dart frantically in a way that is not filled with whimsy and delight. Everyone reacts to it. It's like a sudden, like, oh, a little lovely illusion happens. Mm-hmm. But it just seems like this is like a theater bar for magical bards. So people are casting dancing lights here and color changey stuff and little presentations all the time. There's like a guy working at the stage in the back room right now who's doing sleight of hand. There's like, but that shade of blue, the one you pick, on a 16 insight, Pimley Morn looks at it with a look of recognition.
You hear in your mind, I'm bringing that to your attention, that gnome knows we're the gnome that we're looking for. He knows something about him. Knows something about Blix.
Pimley, you said the name was?
Pimley.
All right.
Pimley Morn.
Keep an eye out. Let's see what happens.
Great.
And he's like a smuggler merchant, is that what you said? Would I know who he is, Pimley?
Give me history with
Right, because you tapped the black market, right?
Yeah, give me history with advantage.
Okay.
Let's go.
Okay. 21.
You know Pimley Morn. Pimley is a Pimley's a smuggler who specifically helps get arcane components into the city for like big spell casting. He's someone who if you look up and clock him right now, I think you'd be surprised to see him at a high rollers table. That's not like Pimley.
And I will have messaged into your mind exactly the update that I gave him.
Okay.
He knows something about who we're looking for.
I'm just gonna kind of like look at Pimley, see if look at him long enough to see if he makes eye contact with me eventually. You know when you're like at a party and you're trying to like get someone to pay attention to you, but you don't want to.
Just waiting to catch their eye.
Yeah, you're just waiting to catch their eye. So I kind of keep looking up at him as I'm going through my. papers.
You look up. Pimley does actually look up and make eye contact with you at a certain point, and kind of freezes there for a second, looking at you.
Just give him a little head nod and a wink.
He raises a tankard to you, drinks it, and goes. Nervously laughs and goes back to playing his game. Give me an insight check.
Okay. It's gonna come back to haunt me. I hate that I'm rolling this good, and I know that sounds weird. 18.
Moment of fear on his face as he saw you were looking at him that appears to have been dissuaded by the pleasant looks you gave him. He was reading you very closely. He wanted to see if you were suspicious of him. And he's not someone that knows you well. This is a guy that I think you guys did business 15 years ago when he was a lot more honest and you were a lot dirtier. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally,
you know, the Penteveral was on the up and up, and whatever he was doing was on the down and down, and it has only continued in that way.
Do we want to talk to Pimley?
Well, I think one of you two should. I'm not sure if the Arcane Marshal should take point on this one, but I will be standing at the ready to back you up.
Do you want me to go to the table, or do you want to try and get him to leave?
I think you should leave the table. I don't think we want to mess with these guys. Personally.
Who are you going to approach?
If he knows you, you can bring him into a corner.
I'm gonna get up and go to the loo.
Lovely, you go to the loo.
Mm-hmm. And as I walk by, I'm gonna just run my nail across my teeth, and I'm gonna cast a message to Pimley.
Mm-hmm.
Meet me in the bathroom.
Give me persuasion.
Poopies? Is that what you said?
Every time I'm like, I could have touched you. Giving you guidance, but I didn't.
Okay, 18.
Wow.
As a great.
It's so weird. No, wait. I was looking at performance. I was looking at the wrong one. Dirty 20.
You're dead.
There is a
I'm gonna
play-
die.
There's
I'm
a
gonna
play
die.
that has the line, "There is an art to the building of suspense, though it can be done by luck alone." Speaking of good plays.
Pimley, Pimley, you guys watching outside see Pimley look around, check around places, gets up, and goes, right, well, it looks like I busted anyway, just won the fucking ante, so I'm gonna go piss. You see that the bruiser looks at him and goes, we already dealt the cards, mate. Here are your cards. And you see he says, whatever, just put him back in the deck. Bruiser goes, it's not how it works. And you see that Pimley looks up at him and goes, all right, hey, anyone want to play my hand? And he looks over, and I think he looks up at your guys' table.
Oh, I'll come in.
Yeah.
Good. Oh, there's an open seat. God, I was hoping it would be one.
Incredible. You go and sit at the table as Pimley gets up and moves to the bathroom. You see.
Quietly did the two of you.
You see you are now sitting across from the aristocrat who looks at you and says, pleasure, welcome to the table. Thank you for playing Mr. Morn's hand for him. The seat is yours for as long as you'd like it, given that he rudely excused himself from our game. I'm Druspin Fortunata.
Drespin?
Fortunata?
Wow.
What a name.
And what might I call you, my good man?
Oh, you can call me Delix.
Delix.
Delix Blix, it's a pleasure.
You see, he looks and says, Delix Blix, pleasure. Give me insight.
You heard me.
Why not? Why not?
Mm-hmm. No. Well, that was cocked. That was cocked. That was not cocked. Insights. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. The name Blix doesn't ping any of the three people here.
No, it wouldn't.
So you see that he says, "Oh, Mr. Blix, we're delighted to have you play with us. Are you familiar with this version of the game? We're playing Aziri Hold'em."
Am I familiar with this version of the game? I'm familiar with this version of the game.
Splendid. Well, then, you'll play the cards as they were dealt to Mr. Morn. Do you accept?
Oh,
Before looking,
of course. What is the buy-in for this?
The ante right now, you see that the bruiser looks and says, "Small is 1, big is 2. Gold."
Well, go big, I suppose. And I throw 2 gold down.
You see that the bruiser sort of smiles and says, "Welcome, it's a lively game. We're not playing like we got a great sense of urgency, mind you, but we're here mostly to enjoy each other's company and play a little bit of Game of Fortune." You see that Arnisha, the wizard, sort of says, "I don't know about you, this is not true. I am extremely trying to... wizardry does not pay the bill, so I'm trying to try my hand as a professional gambler."
Oh, how's that working out so far?
Terribly, I'm down 40.
Oh, dear. Brick wall of a man, what is your name?
Ooh la la, you flirt that hard, you're going to get in trouble. Gus.
Gus, pleasure. If Delix is too much, you can call me Del.
Del. Oh, I love the name.
Mr. Blix goes as well.
Mr. Blix. All right, Mr. Blix, well, you're big. So, better to see you, Arnisha. Why don't you kick us off? We're going to move to the bathroom.
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing.
Let me take
I don't know what I'm doing.
Seemed like you knew what you were doing.
Start setting up line.
You see, you see, Pimley Morn walks in.
It's single stall, single room, bathroom, I'm assuming.
There's a small area that has 3 single stalls, but they have a little wash basin. So there's like space. It's not just a toilet behind a door. It's like a wash basin and a toilet and a little like towel hanging from a little bit of like linen hanging from a hook.
Dang, Dol Makyar got inside plumbing?
Inside plumbing, baby.
Damn.
The whole city is built on a slant with a river. That's easy. Get this shit out of here, man.
You do not want to live down there.
Shit does, in fact, roll downhill.
Aqueduct.
Of course, I'm going to do a quick check and make sure we are alone.
Hell yes. Give me a perception check.
Just open all the doors, make sure no one else is in here. Okay, 15.
Skadoosh.
15. You don't detect anything untoward in here.
I am going to kind of like position myself to where I'm going to be kind of up against the wall so that when the door swings open, I'm a little bit hidden.
Cool. You tuck behind out of line of sight.
Yeah.
Pimley walks in, turns to you. He, sees you and goes, "Oh, hi. Murray."
Shut the door and lock it.
Roll initiative.
Are you fucking for real right now?
Roll initiative.
Whoa! Give me a lot of things. Did you roll high again?
I did roll
Sure did.
high. I did roll high. My initiative is bad though, cause I'm clumsy. 16.
Wow.
What? I didn't know that was gonna happen. Oh God!
Okay, 16. He also rolled a 16, so it's going to be rollies again. I'll roll it here.
Oh, God. First rollies.
5 plus 2 is 7.
10 minus 1 is 9.
Murray, Murray, you guys are acting a
Dex is my
split
jump
second
stat.
apart. All you know is that he's about to cast a spell.
Oh.
He's about to cast
You go to lock the door, and he's about to cast a spell.
Doesn't necessarily mean aggressive spell, but it could.
Hold person.
Here we go. Okay. Your difficulty on this spell is a 14. It's a wisdom.
Never shit where you eat.
It's a 14, which means our dear friend Pimley needs to, with a -1 to his saving throw, needs to hit a 15 or higher on the die.
Okay.
14, 1 away, he is held.
Whoa!
Describe what happens as Pimley, you see, as you go to lock the door, he started suspicious, and that suspicion was allayed by you smiling from the table like everything was okay. Seeing a hand go to lock a door, this smuggler has not kept his skin for 20 years of doing dirt by not acting fast. However, you're acting a little bit faster.
I imagine it's like a quick draw moment. Like as soon as I see his fingers twitch, I'm just gonna be a little bit faster.
Yeah.
And just hold on.
Yep. You and watch him. Give me Arcana with advantage.
Keep rolling that same die. Why change?
Yeah, right. Oh.
Arcana with advantage, that is gonna be 20 total. Nope, 21 total.
21 total. Our good friend, Mr. Morn, is halfway through the components of a Misty Step spell.
Okay. Yeah.
But he is frozen, so...
Now why are you trying to leave so soon? That's rude. Look, I just want to talk. I know we've had our times in the past. It's been a while. But I honestly just want to talk. I don't have any beef with you.
His mouth is unable to move, but you do know that the message cantrip will bypass the condition that he's currently in.
All right, well, hold on, I'll send him a message.
Cool.
Where's Davinos?
What the fuck is the matter with you?
That's great.
You know, Pimley, so many things. I think somebody asks me that at least 3 times a day at this point.
I don't know shit about shit. Okay, Murray? The kid is gone. I don't have him anymore.
If I let you go, if I drop this, will you promise not to fucking leave? Promise?
Give me a persuasion check.
Oh, man. Have him anymore.
I will use my can I use my portent now? Or I have to do it pre?
You can replace a roll with portent.
I will replace this roll with portent. You said this is a persuasion check?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna use my last portent for 16.
Okay. He says, I'll talk. Drop the spell. Drop the spell.
You fucking promise.
I fucking promise. What do you want me to do?
Drop the spell.
Yeah.
Why were you trying to run?
Trying to run? You could lock the fucking door.
Yeah, I just wanted a little bit of privacy.
Well, who's pulling the blue candle shit?
Well, I saw you had a little bit of a reaction to that now, didn't you?
Well, I didn't fucking know who was after the kid, did I?
But you know something's going on with him. You know, for sitting at a high rollers table playing Azrael Hold, you have a real shit poker face.
Hey, fuck you. What do you want me to fucking do? Okay, fine. Get your shots in. Why? Because you're fucking running for the Taconis. You got the big guys at your back. Okay? Full court press to find this kid. Look, what do you want me to say? Okay, look. I've been doing some work with the fucking, he looks over and goes, I've been supplying some stuff for Tan Von Nendash over at the Toad stuff. It's an apothecary. It's not a licensed apothecary, but they do some apothecary work. And the kid comes in there a lot for, he's got the fucking iris thing, the irisant, you know, his the middle part of his eye is see-through, right? So the kid gets crazy fucking migraines, and especially if he's doing a lot of magic. So he comes in there, he gets some eye drops for the migraines, and he gets the fucking, he gets a little, when he can afford it, he gets the shit for growing a beard in a little bit. You know, he knows that I get Tanvar the stuff that he kind of can't get for himself, and he knows that I have ways of getting around the city guard, especially with the fucking new marketplace laws. So he showed up at the apothecary after closing time. When did he show up? This would have been last night, I think. He looks and says he goes, yeah, this would have been last night, which would have been the night of the
cleanup.
The cleanup.
Yes.
He showed up around 1 in the morning, asking.
After the cleanup.
Yeah, after the cleanup.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Showed up around 1 in the morning. Looked fucking, terrified, and he was exhausted. I'd been casting spells all night. And he said, I need you to help. I need your help get me out of the city. I'll give you any amount of money. And I told him there was a misunderstanding. I said he had to pay up front. He said he couldn't pay up front. I said, all right, we'll figure something out. I'll help you out. So I got him in I got a secret compartment in one of the carriages I used. We were going to move him out of the city. And as I had him in the back there, Tanvar came out and told me that some news had come in that they were looking for this kid, that there were Taconis looking for the kid. Now look, I don't stay in my line of work for just any old fucking reason. So I turned the carriage around. The kid had borrowed money from the Crow Keepers, all right? So I knew that he had that loan to them. I took him over to Zagi, who, I'm not fucking proud of it, all right? But I had
You left him out to dry. Did you fucking turn him over to the Crow Keepers? Is that what you did?
I wasn't gonna turn him over to the Taconis. Kid wants to get out of Dodge, go deal with the people you owe money to, all right? And I wasn't gonna take him out of the city because he couldn't fucking pay me. What, I gotta be a charity now? I gotta take people that have the fucking sundered houses coming after him and I gotta ferry him out of the city myself?
Keep your voice down, please.
Kid comes to me and turns out he's fucking glowing like a beacon, calling every fucking horrifying power the city has to offer. Yeah, I dumped him. Couldn't pay me. Already knew that the Crow Keepers wanted him, so I collected a bounty from the Crow Keepers and I fucking took off.
Jesus.
Okay.
Oh, Pimley. All right. So you said you dropped him off with Zadi?
Zagi, yeah.
Zagi? Is Zagi like one of the leaders of the Crow Keepers?
Yes, I think you've heard that name. Go ahead and give me a history check.
Okay.
So it begins.
11?
I actually don't think you might have heard of Zagi, which means that they're probably not big in the like arcane. You're dealing with the underbelly is like fully arcane.
Okay. All right. Did he happen to tell you anything else? I mean, you just rattled off a bunch of shit without me even asking any questions, so clearly you're in the thick of it.
Well, you fucking froze me. I don't know. I want it communicated to you tell your bosses that I don't know shit, okay? I don't have them anymore. As soon as I found out they were looking for him, I got rid of them. I would have brought him to the Taconis, but they can't know what I'm doing. If everything I'm doing is against the fucking law.
Yeah, that makes two of us. Mutually assured destruction between the two of you, so you understand that, right?
I love working with everybody.
Pimley?
Everyone is my friend. I don't have any enemies. I love what everybody does.
Yeah, everyone being your friend is exactly why I'm a little bit nervous that you're gonna run your mouth, you understand?
Nobody can keep a secret like me. I don't just run my mouth and say a bunch of shit, okay?
Confirmed absolute bullshit.
What do you want me to say? What do you want me to do? All right? The Crow Keepers saddled me up with the bounty they had on the kid. If they want to turn him over to the Taconis, that's their business.
All right. Besides, what's a lowlife like you sitting at a table with Drespin Fortunata?
Oh, I was trying to clean him out of his fucking money, but keeps getting pointers from this Gus character.
Got any aces up your sleeve? Cheating a little?
No.
He's lying, right?
No. No, I don't have any aces up my sleeve. I have a jack. Ace is obvious. You don't want to throw too many aces around. Look, the point is this.
Agree.
And there.
I made some money keeping my house in order. I got to work with the Crow Keepers every day. They get protection money from everybody. There's not a smuggler in the city that doesn't have to run things by them. They just had their fucking guild master assassinated in broad daylight. So, you know, they're on the back foot. They're looking for a win, okay? And they're gonna try to find friends where they can, and if they know they can count on me, that's for the best. I heard Taconis, and I said, I gotta get this kid off my hands like a fucking hot potato, and I did. I'm sorry, I'm not a hero.
Yeah, I don't think there's room for heroes in Dol Makyar right now.
So you called me in here for this?
What did you think I was calling you in here for? A little happy ending?
I thought we had, a couple years ago, I thought we had a flirtation. I thought it was nice. You got a nice beard, it's cute.
Thanks. All right. I'm gonna go around, I'm gonna start to unlock the door.
So that's a no. Okay, I asked.
Not over my dead fucking body. Hey, and I'm gonna close the door again though, and I'm gonna get kind of up in his face. If you fuck me, Pimley, and I don't mean in the way that you wish, if you fuck me, you're gonna have Taconis on your head. Faster than anything that you've ever witnessed before, you understand?
Give me deception or intimidate.
They're the same, so I'm gonna go with intimidation.
Let's go.
Here we go.
Let's go this. You know what? Let's go with the fuck me, fuck you die. Let's see.
Let's go.
9.
9. He looks at you on that 9 and goes, why would our destruction be mutually assured?
Well, I imagine just by having this little clandestine meeting puts me in a little bit of a vulnerable position, wouldn't you think?
Why? People not know you're doing this? Murray.
Oh, Pimley.
Don't kid her, all right? I didn't make you walk off to the straight and narrow. Now you're trucking around with academics and bureaucrats. That's your world. Don't stay out of the sty for 10 years and try to roll around in the mud with the rest of us like you ain't got rusty. You gonna let me out of this bathroom or I'm gonna finish that spell?
Kind of crack my neck a little bit. It's a pleasure catching up, Pimley.
Likewise.
Open the door.
And he scurries out very quickly.
Fuck.
Hal, I think you make your way down at this point.
Okay.
And see Azune alone at the table with Bolaire playing. Go ahead and give me a gambling check if you'd be so kind.
What is a gambling check?
I'd like you to give me. It's either wisdom or charisma, depending on your play style, plus proficiency if you're proficient with this gambling set.
I am not proficient with this gambling set.
So this will be raw charisma, or it'll
raw
be
charisma.
raw charisma or raw wisdom.
Raw charisma. 7.
7. You draw a queen in your first 2 cards. Before the first spread hits the table, the common cards, what does Bolaire bet with a queen in his hand?
I'm going to bet another 2 gold.
You go for it. A couple different cards land, and you get there is a king and an ace and a 10 on the board in the opening 3 cards, which means with a jack, you would absolutely... with a jack, you would absolutely clear. But you have a queen and a 4. You see that there's going to be some more common cards drawn, and if any of them is a jack, you're going to have a straight.
So, Dresbin, that's the name?
Oh, Druspin.
Druspin, excuse me. New money or old money?
What a forward question. Would it be gauche to say both?
It's fascinating to say both. It certainly, I feel, leads to a bit of a story. I've never heard that before.
Well, let's just say that I don't sit on an ancestral fortune idly. I've put mine to work.
What sort of work, if you don't mind me asking?
Haberdashery, fine clothing. I work with tailors.
Oh, I know a few tailors in town.
Really?
Yes, what were their names? Oh, dear. A pair of brothers, if I recall?
You don't possibly mean the twins,
The twins, that's right.
Yes!
It's very difficult. I can never tell them apart.
The Mercanard. Oh, delightful. What gentlemen. Yes, absolutely.
Do you work with them out of curiosity?
I do. I supply many of the fine fabrics that they use in their tailor shop, and many of the finished garments. As tailors, of course, they often fit to size. I just sold them the longest vest I've ever seen. I've seen with my own 2 eyes.
Oh, I think we know about that.
It's essentially a gown.
Oh, yes. Perhaps there's some sort of sentient, charismatic snake in town. I have no idea.
You're a card!
Oh, bless you. Sadly, at the moment, that is to be seen.
Delightful. You see that the Gus turns to you and says, "What's your trade?"
Antiquities, actually.
Antiquities? Fascinating. That's a very fascinating trade. Do you work in a private shop or with a collection?
Mostly with a collection, although I'm sort of in between collections at the moment. Things are a bit topsy-turvy, times being what they are. But I do a little bit of business with mostly above board. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'll say about that. You are also a fascinating character.
Who, me?
Yes. Did you come in with Miss Despin, or are you...
No, I've only just met. I came in here to play some cards. Travelling through town, only here for a short time.
Oh, what for, if you don't mind me asking? Reasonable if it's, none of my business.
Travelling for some business with the Revolutionary Council, just in town for a short time.
No?
Yeah.
Oh, my.
But a former soldier, but now I've gotten myself involved in politics.
So you've decided that it's time to get your hands dirty.
That's exactly right. I believe Miss Vane is waiting on you to make your bet, sir.
Oh, yes. 2 gold.
The betting continues around. Another common card comes up. This one's just a 5. The betting's back to you. You still have another chance to make that straight.
I'm 6 gold in. All right. I haven't played in so long, and I was... Either way, this is a little nerve-wracking. Dresbin, what would you do in my situation?
Well, that's hardly sporting. I'm playing against you.
Well, I just assumed you would have a decent opinion.
You see, he says, well, I think that Gus is bluffing. He seems a shady character to me. You see that Gus goes, "Excuse you," and you see that Arnisha looks and says, "Perhaps it is best for you to fold, huh?" And you see that Gus looks and says, "Only you can play your cards, mate."
See, I was worried about her because she seems like the smart one.
She's 40 gold down. I don't know.
Well, sometimes it's about taking a risk, and I put in 4 more gold.
You put in 4 gold. It goes around the table. It gets to Gus, and he calls it. You're now the only two in the hand. The last card comes up, and it's a 7. You don't have the jack.
Because we know who does.
Looks at you. Betting's to you, my friend.
Well, now I'm afraid I must fold.
He says, terrible. Hate when a lady breaks your heart. And he puts his hands out and draws all the gold into himself, correctly guessing that you had a queen in your hand. And you see that, Hal, you enter and see Azune.
Yeah, so I'm going to say you threw in that I came in like a little while ago, so I would pitch that I came in as soon as I left the Roundtree's sisters.
Yeah.
Instantly starting to feel anxiety about even asking, and I'm absolutely worried for her safety and worried that I'm going to bring doom down on somebody's head. But I've had time to take in the room, and I see Azune at the table.
Yeah.
And I catch Bolaire deciding to be at a gambling table tonight, and he's seated with
Motley crew.
Yeah. Can I ask you something? Is there anything that stands out about Gus? Because Liam believes this is King Gus from out of town, from Timony. Is there anything about this man?
Give me a perception with advantage.
Oh, terrible. That is a 12.
On a 12, you overhear the name Gus. This man does not seem Riegel. He has thick biceps, broad back. He has a fucked up face like he's been in combat. Like, he looks like a mercenary. I would allow you to give me another check, but you'd have to move to the table to get a better look.
I will go and sit with Azune, that's in like 10 or 15 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. If I hearing the name Gus, I think Hal's, his thought process is like, oh, that's weird. I just met King Gus's retinue. I just recommended this place. There's a guy named Gus. Couldn't be. And I sit down at the table.
You sit down at the table and watch these guys continue to play. Azune, you've also been probably overhearing the conversation.
Yeah, I've been trying to, and I've been having an eye on where Murray went towards the bathroom. As soon as you join, I'll just quickly catch you up to speed.
How did this happen? Why is it happening?
There's a fourth member that hopefully is about to return from the bathroom after having had a conversation with Murray, who is a gnome that knows something about Blix. Murray went to have a conversation with him in the
Someone
bathroom.
here in this bar
Someone
tonight.
here, the person that was playing cards with them that Bolaire stepped in to play on behalf of. Yeah, a lot happened while you were gone.
And I can't process all that, so I just go back to watching this card game for a moment, and I'm staring at this guy with the scarred face.
Give me one more perception check.
Come on. Support me.
Woo!
Yeah, it's 21.
The pommel of his sword is a snarling dog's head.
Oh!
Busy here tonight.
Wow.
Okay, I'm not going to interrupt. I just walked in. I don't know what's going on.
You see that as the card game continues, Gus looks over at you, Bolaire, says, Mr. Blix, I'm a traveler in town. It's my first time in Dol Makyar in a while. We've been conversing politics and faith and all those things that strangers are supposed to avoid.
Dol.
What's of interest to you? I'm acquainting myself with your lovely town.
Art. Philosophy. History. Storytelling. I like knowing the core of what people think, not the things that hide them. I like the truth, especially truth that is wrapped in a tale or a lie.
My word. But this is a town of academics. Well, then here's to the truth. hidden or plain to see.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
If my money has to go to anyone at this table, I'm glad it is you.
Money hard to come by in the antiquities business, or is business good?
Business is chaotic at the moment. No one knows what heads or tails are. Things are complicated. There's an order to the world, and when you shake it for good or ill, people get hurt. I'll ask a question of you. I tend to find that this is a fundamental way of understanding anybody that you're at a dinner party with or table. If you had the power to command the very fundamental forces of the universe, to say that anybody caught committing a crime who was guilty was punished and caught and had to pay completely for their crime, whatever appropriate amount that might be. But in return, 1 out of every 50 of those people were in fact innocent. Or would you have a world where every innocent person who is caught and convicted of a crime is let go and found to be innocent, except 1 out of every 50 of those people was in fact guilty? What world would you want to live in?
Mr. Blix, if we lived in a world where only 1 in 50 guilty men walked free, what a marvelous world that would be. My care is always for the innocent.
Anyone else at the table care to weigh in?
I wasn't paying attention. What'd you say?
That does not surprise.
Murray, I think you leave the bathroom at this time. You guys see Pimley Morn. You recognize Pimley, who sees you and just goes, ah, fuck, and then darts out into the, he's out.
He leave? Okay.
Yeah, he leaves the 7 stars. And Murray, you return.
I think I'm gonna come out of the bathroom and I just kind of lean up against the door jamb a little bit and I just look at Azune.
How far away are you? 60, 80, I'm gonna
20, maybe 20 feet,
message
maybe?
to your brain. How'd that go? Should I chase him?
No. But I know where Daymond is.
Oh, I will nudge Hal and direct him to Murray, and I will just whisper to you, mission accomplished. Murray knows where Daymond is.
And I'll say back.
Are you okay?
I think so.
Hal,
Sorry, there's just a lot of moving pieces in this.
Is it what happened
tonight?
Is it because of what happened to Misha?
That is a big part of it, yes.
Do you want me to do something to him? The lieutenant.
Oh, I don't know. Let me mull that one over. Bolaire?
I actually don't even know if you would know it's me. I'm actually...
Oh, are you changed out?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then I won't say that if you're not.
Yeah, I don't actually...
I did point you out to
Okay.
him.
Okay, so you know that it's Blair, but you wouldn't call his name because you know he's in disguise.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Well, I think I may have to take my leave. I was only supposed to be here for a hand or two while your friend? I'm not even going to assume.
You see that Drossman says, "Where is Mr. Morn?" You see that Gus just goes, "He's run off and left quite a stack of gold on the table to do so."
I think that belongs to all of you. I'll take my leave. Drespin, it's been something. My lady, I hope your luck does change. And Gus, was it?
That's right.
I hope that politics do not stain your character.
Amen. That's a worthy prayer, my friend.
I have a friend at the museum if you're ever in the mood to take a look at a few things. I have many friends there, but just look up Bolaire, Lathalia. I think it'll be worth your time if you ever want to see things around.
Give me
get a sense of things. Nope. 8.
He says, well, dealer of antiquities, I shall be sure to take you up on your offer.
I'm gonna look at Azune.
Goodbye, and you.
You guys join at the table.
I'm not even gonna sit down because I don't want to implicate them, just in case he's. So I'm gonna just message Azune and say, meet me in the alley out back. And I'm gonna head out back.
Cool.
Okay.
I'm gonna head out the front door if I see everyone.
I think you two guys, as you're about to head out from your table, presumably, you guys see walking through the door an extremely put upon hound you recognize earlier as Martin. Walks in looking around. And walks into the back room, right past your guys' table. As he does, he goes, "Oh, Mr. Fang, hello."
I see you've taken me up on my suggestion. Welcome to the 7 Stars.
Yes, thank you. I wasn't planning on coming here tonight, but that's fine. And you see that he says, "Excuse me," walks into the gambling area and goes, "Your Majesty, your presence is required back at the estate with your sister, the Duchess, and the Prince, your nephew. If you'd be so kind, we should be on our way. Thank you, Your Majesty." And you see that Gus stands up as Drusman goes, "What the devil is the meaning of this, Your Majesty?" And you see that Gus says, "Nice playing," and just shovels the gold into a bag. And
like this guy.
And turns around and walks past. You see that Martin, as he's walking with the guy out the door, says, "Your Majesty, this is the benefactor who spoke to your sister, who gave that recommendation that she absolutely should not have, knowing that you would immediately take her up on it when we have pressing matters." And you see that Gus turns and says, "Halandil Fang, is that right?"
Augustus, King Augustus.
As in the flesh, that's correct.
Come from Timony.
Yes.
Well, that is the great thing about Dol Makyar, sir. We get the most fascinating guests in all the world within our walls. And most of them make a run for the finer neighborhoods. The smart ones spend some time with us common folk.
He puts a hand out.
I take it.
He shakes your hand. "It's a pleasure, Mr. Fang. I appreciate the recommendation. The finer neighborhoods are filled with some of the most gifted and studied liars in the world. And it's nice to come to a place with a little bit more honesty."
Oh, come see us at the theater in a week. We'll try to deal you some truth.
"I will do the best I can. I'm afraid that my time here will hopefully be more limited than that. If you see me in a week, it will be because things have gone horribly awry."
So your retinue told me. Well, here's hoping against hope.
I appreciate it. You see that he looks over and says, "We are staying at the estate of a merchant, Harving Bowsprit. Feel free to send some tickets past. Perhaps some of my retinue will stay in the city and will wish to see the show." The name Harving Bowsprit is familiar to you as someone that knows Elodie.
Elodie, okay, got it. Your Majesty, for your visit, I would be doubly on guard. The city's a little tense at the moment.
You recently, if I'm understanding, worked with the Chamber of Lords Advisory to come by the deed to your theatre.
That's correct, yes.
Your work with the Candescent Creed, it's a positive relationship?
It's newer. Have still been feeling it out, but I have a few there who are supportive of what we do at the Hollow Realm. Should have read the fine print, but it's true of the world around.
It's always the way, isn't it? Well, a kindness, deeply appreciated. And Yes, I'm sure some in my retinue would actually love a chance to see a great work of theatre here in Dol Makyar. So the kindness is appreciated, even if I'm not able to make it myself. He looks over and sees you, the people that are standing here with Hal. He nods.
I give him a very deep and respectful nod.
I turn and go like,
how tall is he?
He's like 6'4". He's a very tall, muscular-looking dude. He's a looks a little bit old, like probably like early 50s, or maybe like mid to yeah.
and this is a soldier turned monarch.
Soldier turned monarch, yeah.
Yeah. I just, if I can study how I think I'm looking at his whatever battle scars I can read off of him. Like there's stories there.
Yeah.
That's a language I speak.
Give me a investigation check.
Okay.
That's cool.
Do it with advantage because you're doing it on battle scars.
23. 20. 30, 20.
30, 20. A lot of things you'd expect to see. The one across the face should have killed him. Cool. It's wild that he survived that.
Wow.
That's a last minute turn. That's someone going for the head and catching a corner of the helmet at the last minute and glancing off to the side. You see that he's got a bad burn on his arm that you recognize as not a battle scar. It's a square, it's a rectangular thing that comes to a finer point. It's clearly a poker, a fire poker.
Oh.
He looks to you and says, soldier, part of the Revolutionary Guard.
Yes, lieutenant of the Arcane Marshals, Azune Nayar.
Good men. Appreciate the amount of arcane goings on in a city like Dol Makyar, so imagine that's not an easy job. Also understand that you probably just wish to farewell to a lot of your comrades, yeah?
I did, yes. There was quite the dismissal that happened.
Understood. Well, best of luck to them, and appreciate the recommendation. Very well. And he smiles and takes off with his with the hound in tow.
What a good boy.
And I think Murray, you're also standing there. Oh no, you went outside.
I went
already.
back. I'm waiting in the alley back.
So they head out. You two guys, I think, join your companions outside.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I've already cracked cracked my glass face off, so I'm back to normal.
And I will, if we're not at the alley yet, I will lead everybody to the alley where Murray told me she would be.
Mm-hmm.
I think Murray's just like swiped a bottle of wine off of the table on her way out from someone, and it's just like taking big swigs from the bottle of wine, like stress drinking.
I walk up and take it from you. Belt to back. So much happened in the last hour.
That was so much.
Okay. Notes. Compare notes. Is anyone around who wants to kill us?
Always.
Go ahead and give me a perception check.
I'll throw one in there.
It's a 14.
14.
Not better.
Well,
actually, a 15.
We have a room upstairs. If we need to confer, maybe that's better than the alleyway.
Or just to save time, we could start heading to my apartment just to get that going. And you said something about a lead?
I know where Davinos Plex is.
Well, there we are.
And with that, we'll go to break.
Keyword.
Keyword. Davinos Plex. Break. Fuck!
Okay. Crowkeepers, huh?
Okay. We're gonna have to try. I'm gonna get everything in order in my head.
Get everything in order in your head. We'll come back from break and continue. You sneaky Pete!
NordVPN is more than just a VPN. It's a cybersecurity pack that gives millions of internet users daily confidence on every device for a safer digital life today. NordVPN, cybersecurity built for every day.
Someday, I can leave the smuggling business behind.
I know Aether better than anyone, and I know how to help with the wasting. A little. Anyway, please, just let me try. I don't think I'm at any risk.
A lot of runaways think the life of an Aetherneer is easier than what they have up here.
The Civil War has some of them playing mercenary. We call them gray caps. The Finks are selling their Aether guns in Dreamland. We need to see who's buying.
Your insurrection ends for a better, peaceful tomorrow. For all of New York!
Remember, act like a bloodthirsty sadist who wrecks everything around you. Basically, just be 8-shot.
What lies beyond, they longed to know. The places where the maps don't go. Their quest to learn of time and space devoured them without a trace.
The dawning truth burned like a sun, hypotheses unwound, undone. Through realms unknown, the ship took flight, through ancient ruins, through beams of light.
And now, at last, an endless hall reveals the things that haunt them all. The final journey now begins. To go beyond, we must go within.
Unend Season 3 arrives April 8th, 2026.
New episodes available Wednesdays on Beacon, Mids.co, YouTube, and your preferred podcast listening platform.
You've been enjoying being back to a life where magic works as normal and you don't have to fight and slaughter what you eat.
Greg, what have you done with my hammer? It's not in the well.
Right, Greg, better down. Let's find Bob. We're going on a mission to find my hammer.
Dink it, sink it.
Oh!
Aaron, you can't.
Give me a fucking stick. Give me my hammer.
To explain what I'm gonna do.
It's hammer time.
He's in the thing!
Hello, friends. Laura Vale here with all our cool stuff available in the Critical Role shop.
9 times out of 10, this is a good decision.
It's comfy, it's cozy, and it's perfect for you. Why not pick this up? It looked great on you. Make a hell of a fashion statement with this baby right here.
I'll take 3. For science, obviously.
You can never have too many dice. Take it from me.
Gonna wear this on the next full moon.
Oh, that's a perfect gift.
anyone asks, this was a necessary expense.
I think I'll get it. And you should too! And then we can be twinsies. It'll be so much fun. Grab some sweet CR swag of your own over at the Critical Role shop. We'll see you there.
Welcome to Weird Kids. I have never related so much to a character than I do Bilbo Baggins.
A little more Gandalf-y.
Yeah, you're more Gandalf-y. You need your party.
Parties are great, although people are exhausting. We were about to die salute.
That is spicy.
Oh God, why did I put another one in my mouth?
She's cursed.
I remember that forever on some level.
Sorry.
I have to say something real quick.
Yeah.
Good day, good day.
A pop pop.
Yeah.
Welcome to Weird Kids.
Letters.
Get it!
Welcome back from the break. Liam said ass without a trace.
Narc.
It's not
how this works here, bro.
Hard narc.
We're
That's
supposed to abuse you.
So, so many years of having someone on your side. I'm not on your side, okay?
We're supposed to abuse you and you're supposed to take it.
The fans have a right to know they're talking about ass without a trace. We return to the city of Dol Makyar, where you guys speed on from the Seven Stars, where you have met a king, confronted a smuggler, and talked to a chambermaid. And who is to say which of those has more political heft behind it? For indeed, you now are heading in the direction of the Ogremok marketplace, potentially to get to Bolaire's place, but potentially also to compare notes. Your conversation picks up as you leave the Seven Stars together. Bolaire, you are no longer in disguise, correct?
Oh yeah, I've dropped that.
You dropped it, great. As you move through the city, what information do you share?
Well, only thing I'll point out is Hal will give a rundown of everything that he learned from Romina. And I just want to put a fine point on it that this woman is just trying to go about her day, and if anything should happen to her, let's not let anything happen to her. So everything that we've learned via that avenue, underlock. Okay. Please. And that's it. So I do a complete download.
Murray also does a complete download and follows up with that. You know, I gotta say, the more we talk to, of course, we gotta look out for people like Romina, but also the more questions we ask, we're also exposing ourselves as well.
Yeah.
I might have showed my hand a little bit too much to Pamela. But it's fine. It's fine. If you go asking around, you go start poking the bear, you go start asking about Taconuses, people are gonna wonder why you're asking about Taconuses. So just so we're all aware of that. Each conversation comes with its own element of risk and exposure.
So true.
So true, bestie.
All right.
So, are we heading to Bolaire's, or?
No, I think we know where the boy is now.
We do. We know who has him, and I know that. I know where the Crow Keepers hang, at least during the day. The Guard Tower Tavern is where they post up during the day. It might be too late to catch them there. That's in Caravan Hill. I've patrolled that area plenty of times. We can start there and then see if we can figure out where they've gone from there if they're not there.
That also might be if they were looking to keep someone under wraps. That might be where they kept them.
Right.
It's familiar.
Well, I'll start to head us all towards Caravan Hill unless somebody else gets a different idea of where to go.
Guard Tower Tavern, you said?
The Guard Tower Tavern.
Okay.
Yeah, and what's our angle?
Well, we have a couple of angles, I think. We could be going there to do business. Because as far as we know, wasn't it the Crow Keepers that knocked over that wagon with those blank glyphs?
Yes.
And personally, I'd like to get my hands on a number of those so that we can use them down the road.
Yeah, I think if we pull on this thread to find Davinos, we can also kind of kill two birds with one blank glyph here.
Yes. So we can at least initiate a conversation about that, perhaps.
I mean, I have a few contacts in the Crow Keepers. I don't know how willing they're going to be to squeal at this point in time. I think everyone is aware the tensions are running high in the city.
I'm also conducting an investigation on behalf of the Revolutionary Guard. I'm an arcane marshal working with Einfossa, and I could be going there to collect him on behalf of them.
Well, help.
Davinos?
Yes.
Davinos was grabbed by the Crow Keepers. Do we know who hired them?
He wasn't grabbed by the Crow Keepers. He was turned over.
Sorry, what I mean to say is, why are the Crow Keepers after him?
So
was that a
Davinos-
hire?
No, Davinos took out a loan from someone named Zoggy.
Okay.
So Davinos, being down on his luck, basically went to a loan shark, took out a loan.
How much money we got?
And couldn't pay up on his goods, so he got
Was it a
He
20,
got turned over.
22 gold loan? I'm trying to remember. I think something got mentioned of it. It wasn't a huge loan.
Did he mention the name? I
don't think you've heard the
exact number. All right.
I don't think you've heard the exact amount.
I mean, Davinos, I think, was trying to get out of town, and I think it just backfired. He put his trust in the wrong scoundrel.
Well, we have options. If we're lucky, we can just walk in, ask them to hand him over, and walk out.
Walk into a smuggler's den and ask for
Right.
someone under their thumb.
Oh,
fucking Pamela.
That is what they do.
What do we have to offer? I have coin at home.
I have
a decent amount.
Free tickets.
Something you said, though.
Oh, no.
Azune.
Yeah.
Azune, I found actually very alarming, which is if Taconis catches wind of Davinos being in the custody of the Crow Keepers, I don't want... He's more safe in the hands of scoundrels than he is Taconis.
It is. You're actually absolutely right. Maybe we just have a conversation with the Crow Keepers and learn what they intend to do with him.
Yeah, I mean, there's a chance the Crow Keepers will just want to flip their investment.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't want to give him up.
Or maybe they do.
Maybe they do.
Oh.
For the right price.
Well.
I mean, they're not going to want any of the vassal houses or the sundered houses coming and knocking on their door.
No, they don't.
This kid is a risk.
We also have information.
Oh. Yes.
We know what really happened. We know that the gate to the fairy lands was absolute crap. That's worth a lot. At least at the moment.
You took the case file from your lieutenant, right? Asking about Davinos?
Yes.
So you've got the actual paperwork.
I have it on me.
I mean, I think that might be our best shot at this point. If you can show him the warrant for Davinos.
My concern is that kind of puts me in the crosshairs because they will be able to report back to anyone that comes to them and say that I was the person that they handed him off to. I think you're onto something, Murray. I think our best weapon is fear. They may not know who is after Davinos. They may not know that Taconis is after them. And if we're showing up saying, hey, we're here to do you a favor by getting this person that someone is coming after and they're already on your scent. We're not the only ones that know to find him here. Taconis is on their way right now. You hand him over to us and maybe they'll do that if we make it seem like we're doing them a favor.
Maybe.
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe. They may be talking to the Taconis house already.
I think we need
And
a
be getting
flash.
ready to sell them over.
Do you need a moment?
I just got under boob sweat.
Well, there is something to be said about not wanting to hang on to something hot. No.
Well, shit.
I don't know.
What do we do, guys?
What do we do?
We're going to have to go in and just go in and appeal to their sense of security. It's not like anyone else has survived this knowledge at this point besides us. They surely must know that just knowing this child exists, pardon my, is enough to have them killed.
I'll also say this too.
Yeah.
Above table, we do have some skills that can be rolled here to make use of your guys' particular capabilities, experience, wisdom, and insight. If you would like to roll either a group check or individual checks, making like an investigation, basically being like, you know, like, for example, even with all of the wild amount of NPCs that you guys all know, your characters have lived in this city for decades or more, some of you. So like the amount of people you know numbers in the hundreds, right? We could extrapolate this into an investigation check to be like, okay, you know where the Crow Keepers hang out. Like, do you know specifically where? You know what I mean? Like, so if you want to, we could have you guys roll an investigation check to see what you can hear. Kind of like montage it a little bit as you go.
Yeah,
I'm into that.
I'm into that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think Murray is obviously going to be thinking about like the resources that she has connected to the Crow Keepers and the other and her contacts under there, and like where best it would be to go for this.
Hell yeah. Everyone pulling on your network, we can all make individual checks if you'd like, or we can make one group check. But we'll keep it at 15, 20, and 25. We'll keep at the DCs.
I kind of like a group check idea.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do a little group check?
A little group check.
Let's do it.
As we're putting our heads together, how might I, if it makes sense to, guidance in this situation? I mean,
I'll let you cast guidance on the if we're doing a big group check, which feels kind of fun. I'll let you throw that D4 to the group's roll if you like. Cool?
Okay.
Like that.
Okay, great.
Say that Hal would come at this not from the underworld because he was pretty insulated from that.
Yeah.
He still swims amongst people from the noble houses. So any knowledge that he would bring to this would be coming from him gossiping with the muckety mucks.
Hell yeah.
Well, the two of us would have had some contact with them at some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so this is
investigation.
Investigation.
Not good.
Investigation.
That was terrible.
Here's the guidance. Oh, that's a 4.
Did anyone do a good one? You did?
Yes.
Because you did?
I did not, but I got it 4 on the guidance.
I'm going to use a luck point.
Okay.
So I'm at 15.
Worst feat.
Worst feat.
I don't know.
Same ain't here.
Much better.
Okay.
That's an 18.
Adding a 4 to your ultimate investigation, Liam.
Oh, so we all get the 4?
We all get the 4.
We all get the 4.
23.
23?
So wait. Investigations. So it's going to be 26.
26.
You got a high investigation.
Ooh, 10.
10.
15.
15. Okay. Our median roll is therefore a 23. Not bad at all. Or our middle roll is a 23. You guys get down to Caravan Hill. Azune, it's rowdy down here.
Okay.
It is late on. This is Farmer's Day, so the beginning. Many people will be enjoying the first day of a weekend tomorrow.
Oh.
And you are so people are rowdy. Caravan Hill is a neighborhood filled with a lot of wagons and carriages that have become permanent structures here. It was named Caravan Hill in the day because this is where all the caravans of merchant things would just come in, but some have been here for so long enough time. So you'll see there's lots of enormous carriages that have had their wheels taken off and are propped up with stonework now and have little porches and taverns. Rowdy, lots of like outdoor drinking gardens with strings of paper lanterns out. And amongst the rowdiness, Azune, there are, I think you see a lot of people giving you a kind of nod as an officer of the Revolutionary Guard. Bolaire, this is a little bit more, let's put it as upbeat than some of the paths you walk. Murray, there are a lot of friendly faces here, and how you see a lot of friendly faces. I think on a 23 check, very near the guard tower. The guard tower always has a crow keeper present at it. On your way getting closer and closer there, I think you guys see that there are a couple of fights that have been broken up. It's a little bit of a rowdier Farmer's Day Eve than normal. Azune, I think it's just the Revolutionary Guard. You just get a whiff of the Crow's Keepers have been dealing with a guild master of theirs dying suddenly. It's killed. Vaelus killed this person in the overture.
Oh my god.
That's right.
Oh my god, that's right. Oh my god.
We're going to where they had their combat.
Yes, you're literally going to where they had their combat.
Been a while.
It's been a while.
Wow.
It's been 24 hours, guys.
I know, right? Yeah. Maybe 2 days.
I think you see that not too far from the guard tower, Murray, you recognize someone who's had some interest in the Pentevral from time to time. You've always known her by the name Temelo. And Hal, you know Temelo from a lot of your troupe swear by her prophetic readings. She reads cards, she can read tea leaves and crystals and things like that.
Actors.
Wow. Hugh, but you can see outside of a carriage at a beautiful table. There is a peacock feather pattern silk tablecloth over a small table that you see has some cards on it. There is a stunning woman, ringlets of red hair falling and cascading from around her head. You see that she has a sort of a tiara with a pair of small, delicate antlers coming off of it. And she has like a deep, ruddy, red-brown skin with some white freckles, almost like a deer pattern. Wow. But is gorgeous. You see she has sort of like some exposed like midriff and arms, but otherwise this like beautiful gown of what look like emerald sort of like glass. Like you can tell it's glass jewelry. It's not actual gemstones, but it's a sparkling green glass dress.
This is Temelo.
This is Temelo.
Okay.
So, she's out working her wares. You see that she's telling some young woman whose eyes are aglow some good news about the affairs of love and romance that are coming her way. The main thing I think on that high investigation roll is that Temelo works a corner that like 2 blocks up sees the guard tower. So you're within sight of the guard tower, and Temelo has her eyes on the front door of that tavern basically all day.
From 2 blocks off.
Yeah. But you walk up to her. I think also you're not exactly sure. Temelo might be human, but she's got an ever so slight point to her ears, ever so softly. She looks up and smiles and says, "Well, one moment, dearie. Professor Magnuson.
Temelo.
It's an honor to see you. What brings you to Caravan Hill?"
Oh, fateful farmer's night. It was, I don't know, I'm feeling a little frosty. Was hoping maybe you could give me a little reading.
I'd be delighted to, one diviner to another.
Yeah. It's always good to get a gut check from someone not so close.
She puts a small phial of a tincture in the young woman's hands and says, "Margaret, hold to that a few drops in your tea every morning, and you'll be sure to catch your true love's eye." And you see that the woman gets up very excited. Temelo gestures for you to take the seat and moves and grabs a little pitcher of water and just pours some water in another little phial, puts it, and then sort of slides into the side of her gown.
Murray just kind of chuckles and gives a little like a little nice nod, like, after seeing that.
What can I do for you?
Well, I'm not sure if you know my compatriots. Have you all met Temelo before?
We've never had the pleasure, but I've heard a lot about you from a lot of
Mr. Fang.
mutual friends. Oh,
I've had more readings about you than you might first suspect.
Oh, that's not the news I was looking for. I'm very curious to see how all this works. So I think that a friend here is in the mood for a reading, and we're just here to learn. This is the rest of our merry little band for the night.
Officer.
Yes. I'm not on duty right now. And I do have my shield duty.
Yeah.
Duty. I have my shield at my side, but not. But I'm very relaxed with it. No weapon in hand. And I'll just give her a nod, and I'll step back and kind of turn half away from her, just to, in case she needs a little more reassurance that I'm not.
Gotcha. Pleasure, sir.
absolute pleasure.
Well then, let's commence to the reading. You see that she smiles and says, friends and family, but a single silver piece will see your future divined.
You really gotta start charging more, Tamalo.
No.
You know you're worth more than that. I give her 2 silver pieces.
Your generosity knows no bounds.
I assure you it does.
Very well. Pose your question to the cards. You see that she shuffles, and you see more than a little sleight of hand in the movement of the cards, and maybe even a little bit of illusion.
Okay.
Though nothing that constitutes actual spell casting. Even though this is outside the marketplace and spell casting is still allowed here, you see there's like a little bit of, it's a little bit concerning. So she puts the deck in front of you. Cut where thou wilt.
Do I ask my question now or after I cut the deck?
Cut first. And ask your question.
You know what they say, birds of a feather must flock together. But I think this particular group of magpies might be looking to find the nest of any crows that might be nearby.
You see that she flips the first card over, and you see that there is a pale figure surrounded by wings on the card that holds aloft an hourglass in one hand. You see she says, "The path I tread, death walks not far behind. Time, as ever, is of the essence. That is the journey you are on, but where you have arrived." So she places a second card. You see that this card, before it, you see that there is a golden and a ruby mask facing each other, each on a side. You see she looks over and says, "Appearances, quite deceptive. Conflict mediated through smiles. Forces moving and depicting their movements as other than they truly are." Takes a third card, places it down, and you see that there is an enormous coiling dragon on it, whose body is the blue of river water, and with trees growing from its massive scales as it circles around. The fate of the world hangs in balance. Anyone who wants to give me a perception check?
Yes. Deeply.
I'm gonna let them go because I'm fixated here.
Yeah, I can do math.
17.
7.
11.
Looking away halfway.
Bolaire on a 17. A minor illusion flickers over Temalo's eyes, and you see glittering gold. Thimble is a Glashtig. She is a type of fae, sort of like a, very close to a satyr or a fawn, but with the appearance of a deer or stag. She looks up and says, "I know not what troubles you on this journey. What my eyes have seen." And you see she touches her head, and the tiara with antlers, she adjusts it, and only the tiara moves, and the antlers stay put. Aha. Crows have taken deep underground, where the water of the dragon of the world flows. I have seen them flying from their rook all day today. Worried and flustered they are more than usual, for a great treasure has come to them in a time where they lack leadership. There is dispute amongst their number about how to make good on this propitious occasion. The hourglass of death ticks slowly by, the sand falls quickly. Deep underground there is a cavern, where they now seek the counsel of one who trucks with dark powers. Water flows down to these caverns, and if I were you, Mary Magnuson, I would follow the stench, for indeed they seek foul things for answers as to what they should do with their prize. Do you believe in fairies, Miss Magnuson?
Of course I do. Why would I dispute something that I already know to be real?
There are things in the dark which are truer and deeper than what is real. They are looking for a way out. The crows meddle with something they do not fully understand. The treasure you seek will not stay long in their clutches, for crows are fickle birds, and they will go for what is shiny over what they know can cause them harm. You are running out of time. The stench, the water, and she gestures towards a place where literally the water is running down the street towards the massive storm drains that approach the river.
Right.
Well, you know how difficult it is for a carrion to resist a fresh carcass. Thank you, Miss Timelo. I'm gonna pass her another silver piece.
She flicks it and goes, "A fairy has recently caused great trouble for the crows. If you find her, please let Thimble know we are waiting for her. The city is becoming more dangerous. Some of us have already gone missing." She gets up, collects her cards. "Pleasure. The divining arts have drained me of some strength of spirit. I will retire to my carriage where I can replenish. Thank you."
Hal twists his hand in the air just behind Marie, and a translucent magpie appears on her shoulder. I just cast Minor Illusion, and its eyes sort of brighten blue, and like a stately little gentleman bows to Timelo and then vanishes from the shoulder.
From one diviner to another, I expect that you'll keep this between us.
Between a diviner and those for whom they peer through the veil of past, present, and future, there can only be the most unshakable bond. And besides, not everyone's throwing around 3 silver like that. And you see that she absconds to her carriage.
You heard the woman. Let's go.
Let's go.
Oh, no.
No?
Oh, I'm going.
Oh, no?
It's just disgusting.
It's gonna get messy.
I know.
Do whatever you need to do to prepare.
Yeah. I'm already down both of my hands.
So the storm drain that you mentioned, is it off the beaten path a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The water runs down to you guys are in Caravan Hill. The storm drains get to the other side of the Victor's Road, which is the main highway, but there's a couple little alleys that they peel down into. And there's sort of civic infrastructure, so like they're quite a bit larger. Some of these like grates are like 8 feet wide, they're big grates. And they'll flow down under the city out into Lake Nahami.
Okay.
Let's get him.
All right, so we're gathering at one of these out of view.
Yeah, let's make sure that we're out of sight.
Yeah.
Keeping an eye out.
Yes, very much. I will, as we move, I'm going to focus on perception. I'm perceiving my surroundings, and I'm actively heightening my senses, guidancing myself as I look around.
Go ahead. You cast guidance on yourself. Go ahead and give me an investigation check.
Great. $17. 16.
16. Moving down through the shadows, you guys arrive seeing the water flowing over the cobblestones. There's a number of grates nearby, sort of under this massive foundation of a large stone building. So it's sort of like the huge buttresses of this larger civic building. Underneath it, these big, wide grates the water is flowing down into. You look and see that of the grates, you hear that about 3 of them are making a loud, distant splashing. The other grate that you walk by, it continues to just sound like running brook. You don't hear a splashing. There's like a babbling as the water vanishes into the darkness on the other side of the grate.
This one that seems a little bit different from the others, I will call that everyone's attention to it. I think this might be the one that people have moved through, perhaps. And I'm going to start to look for evidence of people having moved through here. If it's wet here, then there might be some wet footprints.
The water approaches the grate and flows over the lip of it, so no ability to see footprints here. But you can give me perception or something else here if you would like to. But that 16 investigation does bring you to the fact that this grate doesn't sound like the others.
I'm just going to cut to the chase, and I'm going to put my hands on the grate, and I'm going to try to move it.
Give me athletics. Difficulty of 10.
Let's go.
Oh, that's very good. 22.
Oh, great.
Great.
A grate. You put your hands around it. Your boots stand in running water. What did Azune think when that third card came up?
The one about past, present, and future?
The third one, a dragon coiling around with a river of its body and trees growing from its side.
A lot of things flashed. I saw that card as she was talking about that past, present, and future, and I saw it was the trees growing out of it, and I just thought of rebirth.
You stand in this flowing rainwater, hold the gate, passageways, past, present, future. The water always flows forward, but eventually it does find where it began again. And this grate that appears to be solid has a hidden hinge behind the stone and opens up into the darkness of the base of the building. The water, instead of dropping into a major aqueduct to flow out to the lake, babbles because someone has come into the dark here and built into the side of the stone a staircase, a wooden staircase that has water rushing over it. To build something of wood here means it has to get rebuilt and rebuilt and rebuilt over and over and over again. And the water rushes down as steps proceed into the darkness.
Well, here we go.
Who can actually see in the dark?
I can.
I can.
I cannot.
Me neither.
But I can give us some light if we need to.
Well, why don't you, maybe you can lean on Hal and I for a little bit.
Right.
How dark is it down here? Is it like dark?
Pitch black.
Great.
Did Bolaire say he cannot see?
I cannot see.
Neither of them can.
I'm very sure. I'm not very sure. I'm quite sure. Double checking.
I definitely cannot.
That's all I mean.
Okay. Well, maybe it's best to have a little bit of light down here, and then we can always extinguish it if we hear something.
Keep it between us. We'll keep it low. Maybe put a bit of. I can put it in my cloak.
Well, I'm going to need actual fire. It's not going to be magical light. It'll be torchlight.
Well, that'll do.
I'll pull out a torch and I'll light it.
Yeah.
You light the torch. As you step onto the staircase following the water down into the sewers, do you close the gate behind you?
Well, I think Hal is the last to follow, and I think as the others maybe get 10 or 15 feet in, they might realize that he's still standing up at the door. And I don't verbalize any of it, but all I can think in this moment before walking down into this dark hole is that everything that's happened in the last 2 days, Hal has managed to sort of tap dance around the worst of it to maintain, a place in society that is public and easy and natural. Everything that his brother eschewed, and down this hole is everything that his brother tried to protect him from. And I think he knows in his gut that if he walks down this tunnel, he shouldn't expect things to be the way they are anymore in too many days.
Do we notice him hanging back a little bit?
I think you do.
I look at Azune and Bolaire.
We should shut the door.
Oh, I'll get him.
Walk up.
Yeah, I'll join.
Are you with us?
Are you all right?
Definitely with you.
I hope this time later to tell you how sorry I am that this has to happen. It was the one thing your brother did that I agreed with. This was not meant for you.
He did a lot to protect you from this life. But now, with his sword on your hip, I don't think you have a choice but to start to walk in his footsteps.
Once a good story gets its hooks in you, you have to follow it to the end. Pull it shut behind me.
Whatever life was meant for Halandil Fang before the rope went taut vanishes into the dark like so much rainwater. You head into the shadows.
What's it smell like? Does it smell like shit?
Getting down the steps, you arrive at a place where mostly what's happening is rainwater. However, the deeper aqueducts are coming from further up into town, especially like the Embers, closer to like the Penteveral, and this is a place where industrial waste is coming down, where other things are coming down into the water. With that, if you follow Temelo's advice, I'd like someone to give me investigation with advantage as you follow the stench.
I'm pretty good.
I'm a 6 at investigation.
Oh, you're better than I am. I will help you. And just while this is going on, Murray has her notes out, and she's kind of like doing a very light, kind of making notes and doing a light map of the directions that we're walking. She's kind of writing down.
Also, are you taking depth into account as well?
I'll do my best.
I was just counting steps mostly. All right.
I can see down here, but I sure as hell couldn't write.
Not great.
With advantage, help for me?
I already had advantage.
Oh, okay.
Come on, buddy.
14.
As you continue along, you follow the stench as best you can. Long, meandering path, a couple of false starts. Who is carrying the torch right now? Azune?
I am carrying the torch. Got a shield in one hand, torch in the other.
With that 14, you are caught a little bit off guard, so I'm going to need a group stealth check but I'm going to need, I'm going to need it to be rolled with disadvantage.
Oh, no.
Everyone at the table?
Everyone at the table will have disadvantage.
I love it. It's like that scene in Labyrinth where every rock they step on it farts.
Yeah.
I'm not great at stealth, y'all.
I'm okay.
Hey! I rolled a natural 20, but it doesn't matter. Really? No.
What was the other roll?
Where were you?
Oh, man.
Where were you? Sorry.
Or 5 for me.
5.
11.
14 with disadvantage.
20.
Ooh.
14 is our median roll here. Okay, this can get actually very interesting.
Oh no.
No, 14. I was expecting this to be a catastrophe, and a catastrophe has actually been avoided on a 14. I'm just checking one other.
Oh boy.
Huh. Now, how about that? That is. I don't have any problem telling you that is the exact number you needed. I'm looking at a passive perception of a 13 right now.
Oh boy.
How do you like them magpies?
Walking up Azune at the last second, thankfully your approach, which is a little bit faltering and a couple of false starts, you guys have been traveling down here for about 40 minutes now, coming to some dead ends. Okay. The steward, and eventually you get to places where you realize that where the stench is highest is not only where off run is coming from higher up in the city, but where it's also coming with enough time to fester and stink. So the main channels, the big giant aqueducts you actually have to avoid, and you have to find the smaller, weaker, older tunnels where things can kind of putrefy. And eventually, I think, Bolaire, you do actually find some crow feathers, and you find some ways to get where you're going. At the last possible second, Azune, you are gonna see torchlight coming from around a corner where you'll have enough dim light to be able to at least find your footing. For those of you that cannot see in the dark, there are torches lit up ahead.
Okay.
And you hear a voice going, "Some other feather." And hear another voice from deeper in the darkness.
I want to kill that torch.
Control flame?
Yeah.
Snuff it.
Torch is snuffed.
We can see the light dancing from the torches up ahead from where we are.
You can see right now, you are approaching basically a T intersection where your little passageway of sewer will open out going left and right. And it is on that wall up ahead. So you are perfectly in a shadow, but that wall up ahead shows a little bit of torchlight, like it can see a chamber with torches lit.
Okay.
As you look at that, that's where you begin to hear the voices. But you are approaching having to make the choice if you step out into that passageway that has a little bit of ambient torchlight. Even that is still technically darkness. It's just the barest bit of torchlight reflecting from around a corner.
Mage armor.
Cast mage armor yourself.
I just use a bonus action to very quietly make my sword glass slowly crackle and appear. Fine rapier with just a bit of green phosphorescent glow in the center, like it's hitting a black light. Just the tiniest bit.
Glass sword in your hand. Do you approach?
So roughly how far away are we?
Give me a perception check.
And the things we heard were clearly unnatural. That didn't sound like a conference.
One sounded like a humanoid voice and something sounded like something else.
Yes.
You said perception check.
Yeah.
I knew all of those rolls were going to come back. I knew. 10.
Everything is water and dripping and flow, so it's impossible to tell how far away they are.
I, being a dwarf, I'm going to, I have stone cunning, so as a bonus action, I can gain tremor sense with a range of 60 feet for 10 minutes.
Okay.
So I'm going to cast tremor sense on myself. Yeah. My perception of my visual and auditory senses absolutely failing me, and then so Murray is just going to get down on a knee and touch the ground and see if she can sense how many people up ahead we're dealing with.
Give me perception with advantage.
Okay.
Clever.
Yeah, nice move.
Much better. That's going to be an 18.
What are you doing?
Whispers!
Wait. Oh,
Whispers!
no! That's not a whisper!
That's not a whisper! Whispers!
He's leaving!
Not whispers!
The game's over.
Let him go! What do we do?
Is it finally happening?
Oh.
Have we had a map yet?
No!
Not us, not us. We talk out our problems.
Yeah,
You're the grown-up table.
What?
Employee table!
There's a lot of things in that.
Crow Keepers, I've come to bargain.
On an 18, Murray.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
going to swivel this out this way.
Oh my goodness.
On an 18, you are about 30 feet down that way around another passage. There are one or two less than 10 Crow Keepers in this hideaway down beneath you. They are speaking to something whose form is taking up the entire... You don't know how to say this other than there is something unnatural through the stone that you can feel that is growing into the stone. There is something there that is essentially like a monstrosity. Its form is formless, but that voice you heard, the deep and unnatural voice, is speaking as if from a mouthpiece on an entity that is actually filling up the entire chamber. There is something down there that is beyond. You would need to do magic or do Arcana to tell what the fuck it is, but there is something unnatural and unhumanoid that is in that space with them. Water, there's equipment around there. There are, most importantly, there are two passageways being guarded. Including the one, if you step out into that partially lit chamber, there are guards that will see you. You can feel their foot scuffing as you think about generations of dwarves before you that had to feel the rock moving around them in deep subterranean mines, almost like a breathing creature, to know when they were safe and when they were not. You feel their scuffed feet. They've been standing watching guard for like 45 minutes, so they're so exhausted on their feet that they just keep moving and shuffling and scuffing. So you got two guards that will absolutely watch your exit from that place and be able to call out. There's another passageway, much like that the water's coming from. That one similarly guarded. There are, in the stone, you can feel it ringing slightly, which is iron placed in the stone, intervals. You feel that there are ladder rungs. If the water is running north-south and the ladder rungs are on the perpendicular walls, east and west. So if you could get up to another level, retrace your feet back a little while, get up one level, you might be able to drop down a ladder and bypass some of the guards from further up above. Resting, there's one body, very small, that is resting on stone and breathing raggedly and shallow. You recognize that rasp in that breath.
All right. I relay all of that. If we step out into that corridor ahead of us, we're dead. Also, there's something in there that's big, real big. And it's not of this world. It's not of Armon. Not that it doesn't seem anyway. And it sounds like Davinos is in there. I recognize the sound of that mouth breather anywhere. He's in there. But we might be able to backtrack and maybe get above them and at least be able to get eyes. If we can get in the corridor over top of them, maybe there's a vent or something that we can look down into. But we're talking, I don't know, 8, 10 people, 10 Crow Keepers.
Okay. And a monster?
And a monster.
Cool.
And a terrified gnome who, from what I can sense, doesn't sound like he's doing too good. What do we do?
Can I ask for clarification, DM, on the dimensions?
Yeah.
Are we down this way?
Yep.
Or if
Your
we walk out this way, we're in view?
You are, so the entrance to your side passage is 30 feet down.
Mhm.
You're probably another 15 feet back out in shadows.
So we're over this way, but further down.
Yep.
Further down.
And you said there was another corridor where the water was. Oh no,
Right.
that side.
That's where the water's coming in
from. Okay.
And it continues down past you guys.
And for more clarification, asking for a friend, the ladder that she could feel through the stone, was she feeling the one that I see on the
That
board there?
one and one over here.
Okay. Okay.
What do we do? What do we do?
I mean, we want to backtrack, climb up the ladder, and get a look down.
I think going this way is a certain death. They're
Yes.
armed and ready to go.
We don't want them to see us.
I don't think that's the way. If we're gonna jump in here. Also, are we trying to talk? Are we trying to talk, or are we trying to fight? We could also try a distraction. See how many of them that we can get.
I think
get out of
to
there.
get some of them to chase something down the way.
Yeah.
But that will only buy us a certain amount of time. They're going to run down, see that something isn't there, and then they're going to run back. But I think getting rid of some of them will be the move to make before we make ourselves known.
I might be helpful here. I think I might be able to do something. What do you think they should... What do you think there's something that you could put in there that would make the most of them chase it down the sewer?
I mean, we already know that they're on edge. I think almost literally anything at this point. If they feel like their hideaway has been compromised, they're gonna go after anything.
Guard. The guard, yeah.
City guard.
The city guard. Even the sound of running feet, splashing and away from them.
All right. I just need to get within 60 feet of...
Maybe getting on the second floor will give you a better vantage. Looking down, you might be able to find the right angle.
As long as someone...
I'll say too, 60 feet is not a tall order for you right now, because where you're at, Bolaire, so we do 30 feet past that, 60 feet, if you were to step to the very edge of your shadow, 60 feet would be right here from the opening into that side canal.
So, is there a I don't know if there's other labyrinths here that I can send them down that is not, if we can...
Totally. Your passage opens up into this main aqueduct. That aqueduct goes 30 feet down to your opening, another 40 feet down to another chamber with multiple openings coming from that. There's another side opening, probably 15 feet going the other way, down where past you are here. In other words, this is not like a snaky little mine with one way in and one way out. This is a honeycomb of sewers to get water out from the city.
Yeah, so lots of
openings, lots of avenues in and out.
Okay. I'm going to try and use phantasmal force.
Hell yeah.
This is going to be interesting.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to need you to grab a rock or something.
I reach down and I grab a loose piece of brick or stone.
When I say so, just toss it in that direction just a little bit into the water.
I can also help embellish. I can give you something visual or audio as well.
Audio might be nice.
What do you think?
Visual or audio. I'm going to make some soldiers. I'm going to have them see them, attempt to attack, and then run just enough that they see them head off in a direction that isn't ours.
So they're going to get a look at our friends and then take off running?
It's the hope.
Okay.
Are we ready? Do you have an idea?
I got my part.
I'll take a little bit of actually, nope, this is a save, not an attack.
Okay.
I cast Phantasmal Force on whichever one looks more of an idiot.
Great. So you're going to have to get line of sight. So you're going to have to partially emerge from that. But you only need a tiny little corner of your eye to be able to cast the spell. So give me stealth with advantage to cast the spell off from Shadow.
Not great. 12.
Oh.
Not great.
Not great. On a 12, you emerge, but you are also casting the spell in the moment that you emerge. So we are going to roll our check here. We're going to roll our save. Your difficulty is 14, correct?
Yep.
This guy needs a 14 or higher on the die to save. I'll roll in front of the board.
Okay.
That is a 9. So, Bolaire, two things happen simultaneously. You get the spell off. One of the two guards will be affected by the spell. The other does faithfully see you. You see him make you in the shadows. This was happening coterminously to these other actions here. Azune, what are you doing?
I'm doing just as he instructed. I'm throwing the brick.
Just out of sight so that it makes a real splash in that direction.
Cool. Real splash, got it.
You hear a gruff voice go, "We're made! Run back to the Master of Arms, it's infested!" But throwing his voice
down
that direction.
That way.
Yeah, it's a 30-foot range for me, so I'm throwing my voice.
Throwing your voice down there. Incredible.
I immediately back up, cloak, and I back up, pull cloak, and attempt to hide.
You back up and attempt to hide here. You see a couple of things. What is the phantasmal force that this one of them is seeing?
It's shadowed and it's hard to make out, but it is a small group of guards, of soldiers, who are clearly down here, looking for things. And I'm going to have them just as the first of it. He approaches. I'm going to have them hit him with a psychic blast, just like they're trying to clear their frame, just as he gets a little further down.
Okay, the one of them that saw you, we are going to have to resolve.
Yep.
But we are also going to roll now a deception check. These are going to be 2 deception checks back to back. We are going to be rolling a group deception check for the auditory illusion that everyone's hearing, and yours you will be rolling with advantage because it is the person being affected by phantasmal force. So I'm going to need both of these. You're giving me a deception with advantage, you're giving me a flat deception.
And because of the Liar's Blade, I have advantage on deception. Does that factor into this?
That does factor into this, that is correct. Okay, here we go. Your brother's sword, inveterate liar that he is, gleams at your side. I'm gonna need 2 deception rolls. And I'm gonna say this right here. If we get both of these rolls at a 15 or higher, that's good. If we get both of these rolls at a 25 or higher, that's exceptional. All right, let's go ahead and roll.
Oh, all right, that's good.
Yeah, that one's good.
Nat 20.
Nat 20! Holy shit!
And a 2.
And a 2. Okay, what do we get here?
24 on this end.
24, incredible.
So 26 total.
26 total, gotcha.
Bless.
Where have you been?
Okay,
Oh my God.
so a couple things are going to happen simultaneously. All of you hear this like, "We're made, it's infested!" As the guard through the tree, big rock splash, and you see the guy who spotted you goes, "Side hole," as the other one says, "Down that way!" And you see the other guy goes, "What?" Turns to him. What I will need you guys to do is, I actually would like, with this, I would like Hal to roll me a 1d4, and I would like Bolaire to roll me a 2d4, if you'd be so kind.
I'm curious about what this is about, but I'm into it.
Yeah.
3 for
I
me.
can't find any of my d4s. Can I borrow 2?
You need 2?
Just 2 at the moment.
There you go.
Thank you. I'll find out where they happen.
My iPad's about to die.
7.
7, great. Okay.
And I still haven't done damage to that guy once he hits when he gets close enough to the beginning of that.
Yes, copy that. Okay. You see what is now going to happen is this. This guy rushes, grabs a torch, calls in, says, God found us! And the other one is going to rush for the tunnel. I'm going to need an attack roll from you, if you would be so kind.
Well, I actually don't think, I think I automatically do the 2d8 damage.
Because they failed to save.
An affected target can even take,
This is about the guy who spotted you, who is not the one who was affected by your spell.
Oh.
So the one who is unaffected by the spell is the one who clocked you and is going to
come towards us.
Come towards you, yes.
Okay, so you need a base attack?
Yes. So go ahead and give me an attack roll for that guy.
Is he within 5 feet or is it a distance attack?
No, I think you're hiding around the corner, so he's going to rush around the corner with a blade at the ready to see if he can get you guys before everybody else is here. And I'll say too, actually, as he's rushing around, you guys hear on that you rolled a 3 and you got a 7. Added together in average, that's going to be 5. You see that you hear a voice from inside one of the humanoid voices going, "You two! Donovan, Hughes, after him!" And you hear 5 sets of boots begin to rush down the tunnel away from the chamber after the invisible guards, as one of them is pursuing down the side passage for you. If that person lives in the darkness long enough to shout,
we have to make them vanish immediately.
You have the instant of their walking into that passage to make them vanish. However, all of that is going to be reliant on what you roll for initiative. Go ahead and roll initiative.
My favorite words.
You guys will roll initiative.
So low.
Azune, what'd you get?
11.
Hal, what'd you get?
7.
Murray, what'd you get?
6.
Okay.
Bolaire, what'd you get?
11.
Oh, God.
Oh, shit!
We're so fast.
Oh, shit!
We're so fast. Oh, shit.
Wait. You rolled 7, I rolled 6, you were 11?
11.
And 11. Oh, boy. That's not good.
Those are terrible.
Oh, my God.
So I'm going to let you know, unfortunately, Murray and Hal will not be able to act before our Crow Keeper.
Okay.
Only Azune and Bolaire have a chance to prevent your true position from being made.
Okay.
And you will have to do that on next week's episode of Critical Role.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Study your build. It's going to be a big one. You got rid of 5 of them if you can stop this guy. This one guy. How about it? We'll see you all on another episode of Critical Role. And as always, is it Thursday yet?
So this feels like it is either a moderate equation or we're dead. That's what it feels like.
If 5 of these rogues can vanish and